Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is currently accepting scripts and treatments. Both William and Xxena Rush are also available via email or Zoom to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers free of charge. Their information will be made available in the show notes. There may be delays due to a hectic schedule and all projects being read on a first-come, first-served basis, but everything will be read and responded to. William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Pack is Here, Before, The Cottage, The Winemaker, and Day by Day. Their award-winning film Group premiered and was celebrated at multiple film festivals as well as screenings both in person and via Zoom that was graciously made available to us and our patrons.
Original Cinematic has many exciting projects on the horizon. Their next film, Immersion, has been completed. The award-winning Sweetener is in development. Fetish begins shooting in September, and Encore will begin next spring. Their documentary, Women in Conversation, is slated for a September release, and we are looking forward to each and every one of them. It is truly an honor to partner with Original Cinematic, and we can't thank them enough for their contribution to our show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez, joined as always by my co-hosts, my husband and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter-Sayapin.
This week, we're recording live from the Sweetser Farm discussing the 2010 found footage horror film, The Last Exorcism. This film was directed by Daniel Stamm and written by Huck Botko and Andrew Gerland. The Last Exorcism takes a familiar premise and presents it through an unexpectedly skeptical documentary-style lens. This film boasts impressive performances, sets steeped in realism, and twists to keep its audience guessing until the end, all leading up to its polarizing ending. Despite being another drop in the seemingly unending stream of the found footage subgenre, The Last Exorcism is a notable standout for many horror fans. This film was requested to us by friends of the show, Nisa Hunter, Molly Gerhart, Ambular Belladonna, Alan Johnston, Blaine Hancock, Probably My Jugs, Scott Troutman-Wise, Cookie, Beth Bauer, Stephen Junius, and Elena Metler. We want to thank them all for their support as well as this suggestion. So, what did you guys think of The Last Exorcism the first time you saw it?
So, again, it feels weird because I do know when we watched this. It was June 2021?
Right.
I'll be honest. I do remember liking the movie, but I didn't remember everything that happened. So watching it, I started to remember things as we went, but not fully. So I was still able to enjoy the ending, the lead up and everything to it. Not freshly, but like, oh yeah. And it did come to me, but I was like, this is cool. I did enjoy this movie. I think that it did, I'll be honest, it did kind of fool me in one thing and or in one situation, and then I was like, oh, all right, this is different. I just want to say that I did enjoy this. This was cool. This was really cool.
I think I saw this in theaters maybe, but I have to admit the first time I watched it, I did not like this film.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just my admitted snobbery when it comes to found footage films.
Yeah.
I cut my teeth on the Blair Witch Project, and so it's really hard to measure up to something like that even later in your life.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
It is. And it to me, it's like the perfect one. And so every single time I go back to it and I'm like, well, how does this compare?
Right.
Which I know is not fair.
You can't.
But I do.
Yeah.
But returning to it, and I think it was whenever we watched it all together,
Yeah.
I was like, I might have given this an unfair shake early on.
Right.
Because honestly, the more that I watch this film, the more I really realize how much I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot here that you can kind of nitpick and be like, it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But the core of it and those performances.
It's that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a matter of really buying into, especially two characters who their actors are putting on a clinic, and it's some really, really impressive work. Our lead character legitimately has a character arc that is really satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
And ends with one of maybe the coolest visuals I've ever seen in my life. It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm really impressed by it. And I think that there are a lot of moments that you can take away from it and remember. I think the biggest thing for me is exactly what you said. The amount of misdirection in this thing.
Yeah.
Because I several times think that we're going towards a certain direction or going towards a certain ending and being completely satisfied with that ending.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, actually, there's more space dust on here.
Yeah.
No, literally.
And that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But I, of course, there will be things that we talk about that are like, maybe we wouldn't have done it that way. Or this film isn't going to set the world on fire. No pun intended. But I feel like it is definitely one that's worth watching.
Definitely.
It did start a flame in my heart. I will say that. No, I agree with both of y'all. I saw it as well. I remember watching it alone in my apartment in 2010. And I don't know what was going on with me at the time, but I was like, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I was also kind of fed up with like the blank exorcism.
Oh, yeah.
The exorcism of so-and-so. Like I was just a little worn out, I think. But thanks to Letterboxd, I know that we all watched it together, like you said, June of 21. And I was like, I don't remember anything. I just remember that I didn't really enjoy it. And I was like, okay, I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. I think it's really like kind of a refreshing take on something that we have seen done again and again and again. Like T said, the performances are incredible, especially by a certain actor that we've all come to know and love, thanks to a certain TV show. But I think that it is, like I said in my intro, for me, it is a standout. I think that, like you said, T, it isn't perfect by any means. And it's not above like, how do you have a score right here? Like shit like that. But it's like you're so immersed and in this, like you said, John Paul, like now I'm in Australia, now I'm in America. Like this, my head is spinning. I'm gonna identify what the fuck's going on before they tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm positive. And oh wait, it's not that. Like, and it, I love that. It really does keep you guessing, and you're engaged the entire time. I think that is due in part to the performances and just maybe the pacing as well, because it's kind of like the beginning setup. I think is so necessary because for me, and I was just bitching about this to the two of y'all last week about some found footage films that I've learned having to script them, where the beginning it feels like, okay, we get it. Like, you love her. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little like, okay, when are we going to get to the fireworks factory? This, I never feel that way. And for such a short film, we do kind of spend a while getting to the fireworks factory.
I do real quick want to say, I want to give credit to this movie for that. I usually am one, I just want to watch, turn my brain off, whatever. But the wanting to find out, the whatever I never lost interest. That's when I did stay every single time. Like, okay, now what now? What's happening next?
No, and it's really, really good. I mean, I don't know what else to really get into without giving shit away. But I really, really, I don't know what I was on about in 2010. I've always really loved and been apologetic for found footage. So I don't know what my deal was, but I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit that. This film is a lot of fucking fun.
I think it's very fair what you mentioned about this kind of being a very well-worn subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you kind of, whenever you watch these films, and it was of that era, like you're saying, where all the titles were just, it's, the possession of Hannah Grace or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
The
oh
haunting
my God.
of Molly Hartley.
That-
And it's like, God damn, how many fucking people are going through this?
possessed.
There's a lot of that
It's
going
a
around.
lot.
Exorcisms.
But whenever this one came out, I think it was kind of a mark against it whenever we saw the title and saw the thing. 'Cause
Probably.
It's just going to be another one of these.
Right.
But it is a really refreshing take.
Yeah.
And even all these years later, 15 years later,
Ew.
Yeah. No.
maybe I didn't have to remind everybody,
No.
but it still stands out.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know the ending is very polarizing. Some people absolutely hate it. I like it.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that the ending was polarizing.
I wasn't either
Yeah.
until we covered it. And I was like, oh my God, people fucking hate the ending to this movie. I will say there was an alternate ending that from what I understand, was actually filmed.
Oh.
And the producers were like, no. So we're going to talk about that at the end, because I think that it is a very compelling and interesting ending. And it was the original ending that they wanted. I think Stamm said the reason he was interested in directing
Oh, wow.
was that ending, and they kind of snatched it away. So
Huh.
I do like what we're given as well, though. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people don't, but I feel like we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I do want to, again, go into another very, very brief production section for this film. And I got my information for this episode from interviews and articles from i4Film, Indie Outlook, Screen Anarchy, Collider, Tribute, Driver X, and Sci-Fi. So, according to an interview with Eli Roth,
Boo.
he said he said that his production company, Arcade, that he owns with producer Eric Newman, they produced Children of Men and the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. I
Oh,
did not know
wow.
that.
I didn't know that either.
But he said that he and Newman came up with the idea for an ill-fated exorcism done in a pseudo-documentary style. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Newman hired the writers Botko and Gerland based on loving their dark comedy Mail Order Wife. But Botko and Gerland were supposed to write and direct, but their film The Virginity Hit was greenlit and production was set to begin at the same time. So now The Last Exorcism, they can't do it anymore, and the film needs a director. Eli Roth, again, this is all through his lens, said that he was in Berlin for Inglourious Bastards when he finds Daniel Stamm. And he said with Stamm's sensibilities, Roth thought that it was the perfect fit because he would really understand what was needed for each act of the film, because they all kind of call for something different.
Yeah.
He also made it a point to say that his association with the film is what prompted Studio Canal to finance it. He said that they said, quote, "We'll finance it. If Eli puts his name on it, we'll finance it." So this is how Eli Roth officially became on board as a producer. He said again that because of that, they could do whatever they wanted. Quote, "As long as my name was on it, that was all the security we needed."
Yeah, this sounds like a story Eli Roth would tell.
You always have to consider the source. So I guess thanks to Eli Roth, they were able to secure a $1.8 million budget. They had this really cool marketing campaign where they utilized chat roulette. Remember chat roulette?
Oh, yeah.
A woman would appear on the screen giggling and unbuttoning her shirt. She looks down, and when she looks back up and leans into the camera, her eyes roll to whites. The room around her goes completely dark. Her face distorts, and she screams and lunges for the camera. Everything goes black except for the text, thelastexorcism.com.
Talk about switching gears.
Yeah. What?
But The Last Exorcism was supposed to premiere at South by Southwest in Austin. But when Lionsgate purchased the distribution rights, it was snatched from South by Southwest. Instead, it premiered at the LA Film Festival before being screened at San Diego Comic-Con and Fright Fest.
Oh, wow.
And it would take its $1.8 million budget and make nearly $70 million worldwide, which naturally means that it was followed by a sequel that I can't comment on because I haven't seen. But the power of Christ is compelling me to get on with it. So let's get into it. Now, before we document this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's pray. The film opens with Reverend Marcus, played by Patrick Fabian, shaving his face in the bathroom mirror while Daniel Moskowitz, played by Adam Grimes, documents it with the camera.
Patrick Fabian. Cotton.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy this man.
Yes.
We all know him from, well, at least I do, and I know you guys do too, but from Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was, 15 to 22?
It was a
That
long
sounds
run.
right.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also in The Ritual in 2025 and Badass in 2012.
Okay.
Those are the credits he has.
I think
But I do love him in Better Call Saul.
Yes.
he's Howard Hamlin
Yes,
for life.
yes.
I think that he is such an underrated actor. I have been intrigued by this man since I saw him in Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Oh, no,
when I was a kid.
Wow.
He's Kelly's professor. He's a professor that Kelly's dating, and Zach is not happy about it.
Why would he be?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's so underrated. And honestly, seeing him as much as I've had to see him working on this film, I'm really in the mood to watch Better Call Saul again.
Yeah. I think I absolutely will after this. Whenever I saw him in this film, I realized even more so the likability factor
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and how much that works for this character. Because if it was played by a less likable actor, the things that we see him say and do, it would not go over the way that it does.
For sure. He had to
Yeah, totally agree.
walk a very thin line to I guess, get the audience on your side.
Well, I mean, for what we're getting into, we have to be on your side.
Yeah. But Cotton irons his shirt to a crisp white and takes notes while consulting the Bible. We see his house from the outside and get text on screen. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Inside, Shanna Marcus, played by Shanna Forrestal, calls out to her husband. Cotton comes into the room as Shanna gives up her task with a smile. She exits the room, leaving Cotton to pull their giggling son, Justin Marcus, played by Justin Schaefer, out from beneath his blankets. He carries him out of the room to get ready for church as his son continues laughing. The filming continues, capturing Justin holding the door open for his parents as they enter the church. And once inside, Cotton sits behind the pulpit where John Marcus, played by John Wright Jr., stands, introducing Cotton, his son, as one of the most anointed men of God that he's ever met in his life. As Cotton stands, John and the congregation applaud. They give it up one more time for Jesus as Cotton takes his father's place behind the pulpit.
I don't know why, but that really cracked me up. Just give it up one more time for Jesus.
Yeah, you were just introducing me, Dad. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like you're upstaging me.
Yeah, what the hell?
In an interview back at his house, Cotton shares that he started preaching very young. His father was a preacher. Every preacher needs a hook that's going to pull people in to get them saved. And frankly, get them in their wallet because the church doesn't run on love. We see a photo of Cotton as a little boy, deep in prayer, laying hands on the shoulders of a grown, bowing man. Cotton says that being a child preacher was a great novelty. He says that while he was groomed to preach, all the other kids were outside playing, but he was inside, learning the Gospel of John. And we see this studious young boy studying the Bible in a weathered photo. In another, he stands, holding up the thick book from behind the pulpit. Now, Cotton shares that by the time he was invited up there one Sunday as a surprise to show the congregation that the Holy Spirit had visited his son, it may have seemed spontaneous to them, but he and his father were ready. We cut to adult Cotton after he's been introduced by his father and then I guess upstaged by Jesus. Wielding the Bible as he paces the pews and cries out to the congregation theatrically. If they want an answer, if they want to know, do they want to know? Because it's all right here, brother.
So I did want to just say really quick. I really appreciated his honesty in the previous scenes.
Yes.
Not only about getting into the wallet and saying they don't run on love.
Yeah.
But also this whole thing about kind of retelling the story of him being a child preacher, that it isn't this thing that is heaven sent. It was something that he literally studied for like tremendously.
Yeah.
But I do find his preacher's accent to be out of line.
It's a lot.
It's noticeable.
Yeah.
It's there.
He said that he studied a lot of Tim Baker, Ted Haggard, and Jimmy Swaggart. I'm sure those names mean a lot of things to a lot of
Okay,
people. I'm not one of them. I think they're evangelists, televangelists.
Something like that. I think
Something.
a few of them are disgraced.
that
That I
yeah.
know. That I am aware of very clearly.
They helped him with this.
Well, there's one good thing.
But he presses the Bible to a congregant's head as the rest of the onlookers cheer. Shanna and Justin watch from the front row. In an interview with Shanna, she smiles that her husband is what you would call a performer, a showman. She gives an example of his natural creativity as we watch the Marcuses mingling at a backyard barbecue. She shares that they have a local theater and Cotton writes plays. He makes many movies now with his own props and special effects. She boasts like he entertains like nobody's business. As we watch footage of Cotton doing a trick for his son, waving fire around over his hands, she says that it starts with their family, but of course, he carries it into his professional life. Cotton blows out the fire and Justin applauds excitedly. Justin's clapping match cuts with roaring applause at the church as Cotton dramatically lays hands on ailing and adoring congregants, all in the name of Jesus Christ. Shanna's voiceover continues that so many churches are so boring that people don't even want to go, but when Cotton is there, it's never boring. The footage cuts to Cotton, standing among the pews and fanning out an oversized deck of cards. He's here to tell the worshipers today that the world is filled with many, many faces. The congregants murmur their agreements as Cotton continues that some of those faces are good and right with God, but some of them are going to lie to you. He's here to say today, don't fall for a pretty face. He flips the top card over to reveal the Queen of Hearts. He turns it over and flips it again, having transformed it into the Jack of Spades, just like that pretty face just may really be the Prince of Lies. He's met with cheers, but he's not done. Cotton fans out the cards once again, warning as he reveals each and every card to now be the Jack of Spades that his lies are everywhere. He walks away, dropping the cards as he goes, and the churchgoers applaud and stare in amazement.
Magic?
Yeah.
You're a witch, Burnham. No, that's crazy. You can't preach against this shit and then be like, no, check it out.
You got to get the asses in the seats,
I
and you
get
got to
it,
get the
I
wallets
get
out
it,
of the
but
ass
hold-
pockets.
yeah, hold on now.
I got it. That was not on my bingo card.
No.
Fucking David Blaine's going to be here. And then the dropping of the cards, he's like, yeah, I just blew all your minds.
And he did.
And the collection plate is right there.
Exactly.
I was waiting for the mind freak.
Yeah.
Chris Angel, but
In an outside interview, Cotton confesses that you really get them going with the hallelujah and the blood of Christ because they love the blood, but they're practically not even listening if you hit them in the right spot. The interviewer, Iris Reason, played by Iris Barr, protests. They are listening. But Cotton is positive that they aren't. He could talk about anything. He could talk about his mom's banana bread recipe. Iris laughs at this, asserting that he's underestimating his crowd, but Cotton is up for the challenge. Wagging his finger, he vows that when he goes back in there, he's going to preach a banana bread sermon. Iris tells him not to. It's embarrassing, but Cotton confidently bets her $10.
Iris Barr, she is in 4 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I remember that.
And she has a credit for the Poughkeepsie tapes.
What?
Yeah.
Hey.
In 07.
That's a
I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but
Poughkeepsie. I'm
There's an extra K in there?
Poughkeepsie. What are you saying?
Well, I'm not saying anything.
I mean,
he's
what do you
like,
think?
hold on, yeah.
I haven't said shit.
I didn't fucking do this. No, because it's spelled like keepsy, but I think it's Kepsy.
Yeah.
So I think that's
what I'm
right.
saying.
It's very
weird.
interesting.
Did I
Yeah.
not say Kepsi?
No, you said Kepski. But
Oh, that's not what
for all I know, you're right. I have no idea.
No, it's Poughkeepsie.
It's the most interestingly named town in the United States, or at least in the
Poughkeepsie.
eastern region.
Yeah, something like that. But the
Poughkeepsie.
tapes.
All
Yes.
I wanted to
Yeah,
say,
tapes.
whatever the fuck it's called, I need to rewatch it.
Yes.
Because I remember liking it, but it's been years.
I know, we watched
It's
it a
been
long
so
time
long.
ago.
We did. Come to think of it, I do remember her in that movie.
Yeah.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I think it's the same couple of people that were involved that did As Above, So Below.
Oh, okay.
I swear it's the Dowdles.
Okay, I'm.
Yeah, I'm in.
That's a revisit. Poughkeepsie.
Nope.
Poughkeepsie.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
The tapes.
Yeah, the tapes. The tapes. We'll be corrected. It's fine.
Harshly and swiftly. I'm sure. But back inside the church, fully embodying his preacher voice, Cotton challenges the churchgoers. Do they believe that if they go ahead and allow the Holy Ghost into their heart, they can be cleansed of all their sins and sit in the kingdom of God? Of course they do believe this. And when prompted to give an amen, the congregation obliges. They give him the amen, then a hallelujah and an amen. He paces down the aisle, asking if they know that if they took 2 ripe bananas and put it in a bowl with some sugar and you go ahead and bake it for 400, you can go ahead and pull it out and have yourself some banana bread. Hallelujah.
For the loaf of God.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got away with it.
I know.
The churchgoers cheer their agreement, and Cotton looks directly at the camera with a big smile, confirming that yes, you can. He hurries back up to the stage, praising Jesus, and the crowd is eating right out of his raised hands.
I don't want to criticize his mom's recipe, but I think you got to put some flour in there too.
There's more stuff.
Just banana and sugar. I don't think it's going to be a good bread.
It won't be bread. It will probably taste good. Stamm had said that they went through hundreds of actors for Cotton. Patrick Fabian said that the casting call called for the actors to prepare their own sermon.
Oh.
So he went to a coffee shop and wrote a 10-minute sermon, adding in fake Bible verses, just whatever sounded right and flowed. Stamm said that Patrick Fabian comes in and he did the sermon and it was great. But then Stamm is like, okay, do it again in half the time. He expected Patrick Fabian to like on the fly cut shit out to make it go faster, but he didn't. He just doubled the speed that he delivered it the first time.
Oh.
Stamm said that he was going so fast that his head was spinning and he couldn't even keep up with what was being said, but he did want to jump up and say hallelujah when Patrick Fabian called for it. He showed the audition tape to the producers, and he said that one of the producers got up to get water, but when Patrick Fabian started his, sped up sermon, the producer froze with a glass in one hand and a pitcher in the other, just staring at the screen. And Stamm was like, we have Cotton.
Yeah.
That's him. The film was also called Cotton originally.
100% Cotton, or like
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a spinoff of that show.
dude, this would be a whole different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as for this segment here, Patrick Fabian said that he was preaching in this church for 2.5 days and having the time of his life. He said that he was going so hard that he nearly lost his voice. And that's when Stamm is like, keep up that energy. He said he wanted the audience to be so worked up and captivated by him that he could preach a recipe and nobody would even notice. And so this struck them and they went and shot it immediately. When Patrick Fabian watched it, because the actors never saw the final cut until the LA premiere.
Wow.
So he said when he's watching it with the audience and the audience laughed, he was like, okay, everybody's on board. Because he understood that they were okay with Cotton as a character, because he said that this moment either you're laughing or you don't like him. And so the audience laughing, who's like, okay, like, 'cause the film doesn't work like we were saying earlier otherwise.
Yeah, because you'd be like, this dude's just an asshole.
Yeah. In an office, Cotton tells us that it's his dad's, and it's actually very special because he doesn't let anyone into his office. John twists the knob on his safe as Cotton jokes not to let them see the combination. And John is like, yeah, don't film the combination. I'm serious. I laughed out loud.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a joke.
Yeah.
I have to
I will
ask, is John cool with that banana bread stuff that his son just did?
That too, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that.
You know?
That should be his church, right? My son's coming in.
It's John's church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, cut it
It's like,
out, dude.
son, you forgot the flower.
Yeah.
But everything else is perfect.
That's so
Well,
embarrassing.
they praised God after,
They
so I
did,
guess
they did.
it's okay.
You forgot the flour. You put an extra K in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
You're fucking embarrassing, dude. But John says, to be honest, he and his accountant are the only ones that know this combination. The camera averts its steady gaze, but returns once the safe is open. Now, John releases the straps on a large leather-bound book, announcing that this is the Hortus Delicarum, and there's only about 20 of them in the whole world. He opens the book and turns it for the camera to see. John shares that the book describes the various kinds of demons and helps you identify them. Then it recommends the process for getting rid of the demon. He turns the pages, showing a crude drawing of a demon, horns jutting from either side of its head, with the family cowering away from it. John says that they've had exorcists in their family for generations. Cotton takes the book now, and he holds it up when he asks his father how many exorcisms he thinks he's done with this book. John ponders for a moment before deciding on a number: 150 exorcisms. That's far too many exorcisms.
Yeah. So they're demon hunters or some shit, or like his family.
They
is-
get
do
the
it.
demons out. Yeah.
I think that's higher than the national average, I would think.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah.
With the book,
Right.
I didn't know until he had said that his whole family is from, a long line of exorcists.
Right.
I was like, is his father also kind of a bullshitter? Because he was willing to lie and make it to where his son is this like gimmick
Right.
when he was a
As
kid.
a child, yeah.
But to hear John tell it, he seems very
He does.
sincere.
Right.
So maybe not. Maybe this book is the real deal and there really are only 20.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, where do you guys think of it?
I'm a little torn because it feels like the more that we get to know Cotton, his thought process now doesn't seem like he's like, oh, we like our whole family thinks this way and whatever. Like, it seems like he reached a conclusion on his own after being raised in this heavy belief in this whatever, a long line of exorcists or whatever. Like, I think that probably it is like money motivated from his dad, but I don't know that it's fake in his mind.
Yeah, I like the look of the book and how it is. And all
Yeah.
that. Like that looks really cool. But that you saying that did kind of raise a question too. I thought so, and then you saying that, babe, because I thought the same thing you did, T. I'm like, so if you know that your son is kind of bullshitting with this, or he's just performing, what is this? Is this real or is this whatever?
He's like, hey, you don't talk like that.
That's true.
But you saying that too, if he did do this on his own, does his dad even know that he doesn't believe in it? Or that he
I don't
is
know.
like lost whatever and he's just like, oh no, this, I love
Kind of
doing
at
performing.
least jaded at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
I don't know.
He's gonna know when this doc comes out.
A lot of people are going to know a lot of things. But back at his house, Cotton sits casually in front of the camera in a t-shirt. He tells us the original story of Lucifer. At one point, Lucifer was an angel. Some people even say he was the choir master of heaven and he was helping raise hosannas to God. We scan over a drawn depiction of Lucifer with his goat head and robe, raising both hands. We cycle through different drawings as Cotton tells his story. Lucifer being turned away from heaven, demons fighting for souls. Cotton continues that Lucifer decided he wanted the praise for himself, and God cast him out of heaven. Lucifer took a third of the host of heaven with him, and those are the demons that we know today. Then it's the setup of the Bible. God wants you to turn to his light, but Satan wants your soul because his goal is to overthrow God. Cotton says that the Bible is filled with demons because if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. He says that Jesus himself was an exorcist. So if you are a Christian and you believe in the Bible and you believe in Jesus Christ, you have to believe in demons too.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Good and bad.
right? At the post office, Cotton checks his P.O. box, sharing that most people contact him by his website, but the envelopes he pulls from the box are old school. He rattles off their points of origin: Ivanwood, Georgia, one of which says, "Please open immediately, urgent." As he walks down the sidewalk, holding his envelopes and sipping his drink, Cotton's voiceover reveals that exorcisms are still alive and well. People think of them as being a scourge of the Middle Ages that was cured by science, but it's never gone away. In his home office, he shares that today, exorcism is bigger than it's ever been. He says that the Vatican used to have 20 or 25 sanctioned exorcists on staff, but now they have over 300. And that's just what they've shared with us. And of course, they're not telling us everything. That is a steep incline.
Yeah, I think we got a problem.
Yeah.
Well, if fucking Homeboy's doing 150
Yeah, on his
himself,
own. Yeah.
there's a lot of demons to be had.
A lot. He says that that's also only the Roman Catholic Church. They get all the press because they got the movie, and that's what we think of culturally. But in reality, exorcisms are performed by every religion all over the world. We cut to Cotton showing us a page in a scrapbook where next to a photo of him at 10 years old, a newspaper clipping is pasted with the headline, "Local boy Cotton delivers his first exorcism." We pan up to find Cotton's smiling face as he admits that when he was a little boy, he thought that headline was in every newspaper all over the world.
I understand the novelty of such a thing.
Yeah.
But if you believe, like, legitimately that you're battling with the demon, you really want to send your fucking, like, 7-year-old kid in there to do it?
Yeah,
That's dangerous, right? If you believe in that.
It does seem like that could be a problem.
A big problem. And it's funny seeing, like, because that is a horrific headline.
Yeah.
And then panning up and Cotton's like, yee? Smiling.
I was proud as hell. He wasn't proud at all. He vanquished it.
Yeah.
He was proud as hell.
Yes. Yeah.
Of himself. But yeah, it is. And it kind of it makes me feel a little icky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does feel very weird.
And it does call his father into question.
Yes.
But in an interview in Justin's room, Iris tells him to tell her what his dad does. With his dog in his lap, Justin sits on his bed and answers excitedly that his dad fights the demons, the vampires, the ghosts, all the monsters. Iris takes this answer in and wonders if Justin believes in ghosts. Justin shakes his head, but when she asks if his dad believes in ghosts, he takes a moment to think. Justin can't help but grin and chuckle as he raises his finger to his lips and shakes his head.
This is where we take a very interesting turn.
Yes.
Because I honestly thought that this was like, Justin, you're giving up the game.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Not at all. In his office, Cotton confirms that he does not believe in actual demons, but when he was doing exorcisms, he acted like he did. It's not like he saw demons come out of anyone, though. Iris needs to get this straight. So for the last something odd years, Cotton has just been a fraud?
Damn.
Yeah.
Thought we were on the same.
Yeah.
She couldn't sugarcoat it. All the sugar got used for those bananas.
And just sugar.
Yeah.
Cotton reasons that that's her word, not his. He wouldn't say fraud. He would say that for the last couple years, what he's been doing is just what he's always done. He's delivering a service for a person who needs it in the way that they need it. He concedes that he's not calling himself a doctor, but he did help heal people from what ailed them. And sometimes what ailed them was the thought in their brain that they were possessed by the devil. If he helped them make that thought go away and they felt better, then so be it. Which, like, maybe this is the Jimmy McGill apologist in me, but I get it. Like, I get it.
I get it.
He's
That's
helping
just
people.
That's just a weird way to say that. Like, let's be honest here.
It is funny. It's not like I'm a doctor or anything, but I have healed many a soul.
But this film wouldn't get made if it wasn't for me. I think that, like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. He's providing a service. It is a little shady, I'm not going to lie, but it is like, he is helping people.
I get it.
And this
But he's
is
also a fraud.
Yes, very much. Reese was right. This is such an interesting angle.
It is.
Because whenever you see any kind of film like this, the person who is responsible for the exorcism is very like holier than thou.
Oh, yeah.
Super devout, incredibly steeped in belief. And so to have Cotton be so outright with his beliefs, that it really makes him a very interesting and complicated character.
For sure.
Yeah, it I'll be honest, it did make me, in a weird way, I know he's bullshitting and whatever, but it made me trust him.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, you're being straight up about this.
Yeah.
And you're not like, well, I know, but he is just like, look, dude, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
And
It's
even
what it is.
her being like, you're a fraud, he's like, sure. Like, if that's
Yeah.
what you want to say, I wouldn't say it that way, but sure. It's like,
Yeah.
it is what it
can you
is.
say?
Yeah. We're treated to footage of the Marcus family spinning on seats in the park, and Cotton concludes that he has a family to feed, and that's at least how he used to justify it. In her interview, Shanna shares that it all changed when Justin was born. He was born early, and there was a time when they weren't even sure he was going to live. We see Justin smiling at the dinner table before zooming in on the hearing aid affixed to his ear. Shanna says that when they finally found out that Justin was going to be okay, Cotton was so relieved, and he acknowledged that they were just so lucky. In his own interview in the living room, Cotton expounds that the best he could do was to say, "Thank you, doctor." He allows that he should have been thanking God, but that wasn't his first thought. It just wasn't. Cotton's usual easiness fades away as he admits that that realization really shook him. We see him in his crisp white shirt, pondering outside of the church and readying his Bible, an oversized deck of cards. He confesses that it was a real crisis of faith, and he was starting to question whether he ever believed in God in the first place because he started preaching so early and just kept doing it. He says that he was good and he got rewarded for being good, so who would want to stop that? I think it's here when they show him like getting ready outside the church. He's like nodding to himself and stuff. Patrick Fabian had said in one of the interviews I read that this was really him. He wasn't performing as Cotton. This was Patrick Fabian getting notes from Stamm.
Oh, wow.
And nodding like, but he said in his head, he's like, all right, like, let's get going. Like I like being impatient and ready to get going. But when they added it in the film, he's like, oh, I look like I'm psyching myself up.
Yeah.
And he was like that. He called it movie magic because he's like
is.
that. I'm just being impatient with my director because, and I was going to talk about it later, but I think here's a good time. He and Ashley Bell, who we will meet later, said that Stamm did about 20 to 30 takes of every single scene.
Ooh.
And so, I mean, when you think about some of the later scenes in this film, that includes those.
Yeah.
And they were exhausted. So I'm sure he was like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
let's
That makes
go.
more sense now.
Yeah. But back in the living room now, Cotton admits that even when he started having this notion of maybe he doesn't believe in God, but he's still presenting himself as a preacher, it didn't stop him. He was just on autopilot because that's what he does. He allows, though, that there's no doubt that it wasn't easy. It did get harder for him. In her interview, Shanna reasons that he would have eventually quit at some point anyway, but there was this one story about a little boy named Victor Turoy from Harrisburg, Texas. Shanna shares that Victor Turoy had autism and he was suffocated to death during an exorcism. We see this depicted in the newspaper, the devastating words framing a smiling black and white photo of Victor. The headline reads, "Victor Turoy, 10, dies by suffocation in an exorcism." And the subhead, "Family preacher is suspected in the death of an autistic boy claimed to be possessed." Shanna says that this was done by well-meaning people trying to get a demon out of a child. In his office, Cotton says that when he read the article, Justin was about Victor's age, and he started having this recurring nightmare where he was the exorcist and he was wrapping a plastic bag around his own son's head. Every night, he would watch his son die and he would wake up in a cold sweat.
That whole revelation is just heartbreaking.
It is.
Yes.
And to have that as a recurring nightmare.
Yeah, that's horrific. And I feel like that is such a valid turning point of oh, I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore. Whether I'm going to those lengths or not, I'm just not, because shit like that, I know this is a movie, but that has happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
It is very scary and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about on The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
That's based on a true story. Not all of it.
Well, not all of it.
Not all of it.
But enough to make it very bad.
And upsetting.
Yes. We cut to Shanna, who says that it wasn't long after that she was in the kitchen washing dishes. Cotton came to her from his office with a story about the new pope opening an exorcism academy. This is reflected in the newspaper as well. Vatican opens exorcism academy. She says that Cotton was visibly shaken, and he asked her, "Do you know how many more people this will hurt?" In his office, Cotton says that that's when he really decided that he was done. He had to get out of that. He says that he's not interested in participating in exorcisms whatsoever. What he wants to do is expose them for the scams that they really are. And this is why they're doing this. If he can help expose it for what it really is and save just one kid from a plastic bag being wrapped around his face, that sounds like God's work. Later, Cotton shares his idea. They'll open an envelope and follow the request wherever it takes them. Iris and Daniel can follow him and film all the behind the scenes of his exorcism. Cotton snatches up the envelope on top, the one marked "Please open immediately, urgent." He says that it's from Ivanwood, Louisiana, but they're basically all the same. And I will say I did get my hands on the screenplay that does have that original ending in it, but it was called Ivanwood.
Okay.
So it could have been called Cotton. It could have been called Ivanwood.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, even with the fucking played out title, I think The Last Exorcism might have been the best.
Yeah.
I will say Ivanwood's better than Cotton.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
true.
No, yeah.
I don't know what I'm getting with this film.
No.
Is it a textile thing or?
Is it about Cotton Hill?
Oh, no.
I'll watch that.
No.
He's got enough for his own film, I will say. But I think, honestly, and then with it being the title, The Last Exorcism, this giving a purpose to the documentation.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. And I mean, he is trying to help. I think the thing is just you're still, I don't know. I feel a little funny that you're opening this and you're like, we're going to go give these people false hope real quick. And we're going to videotape everything. And then I'm going to show everyone.
Well, it's real hope in a false way.
Right? It's like he's not perfect.
Nobody is.
I think
Let's not forget that nobody's perfect.
No.
the thing about it though is, again, he could have picked any envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
true.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
But he says that there are people who are definitely convinced that they're possessed when it's really just some sort of crop failure or a problem with the livestock. Cotton takes out the folded letter inside and begins to read it. "I feel that I am dealing with a case of possession by the devil himself. My livestock is being slaughtered nightly." He points to this sentence with some satisfaction before continuing.
I'm sorry, that's not the same as oh, my cow is sick. It's
No.
they're
He's like,
shitting.
"See?"
No, they're being slaughtered.
Yeah.
That's a bit bigger than, I think we pick a different envelope.
Yeah.
After that,
It's like there could also be a serial killer in Ivanwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alien,
Something.
you know,
Oh, that's a different movie now.
Yes.
cow mutilation. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I don't think they do that.
Yeah.
Why would I don't think that they're here for that.
They want to see what's in there.
It's the same every time.
Yeah, but we know.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
many cows do you need to take?
seriously, it's the same with the anal probe.
But
You're
maybe
gonna find the same shit.
Maybe this next one will be different. But Cotton continues. Little doubt who is doing this gruesome. He continues scanning. Please, please, please. Finally, he folds the letter and decides. Looks like we're going to Ivanwood. Outside, Cotton loads up his van and bids goodbye to Shanna and Justin. He slaps a Jesus fish on his bumper, gets behind the wheel, and pulls away, telling his family goodbye and that he loves them. On the highway, we focus on the sign New Orleans Business District. We pass a church with a leaning cross crowning its steeple. And as we cross a bridge, Cotton says that it's amazing down here and that it has a real unique feel, unlike anything else in the entire country. Driving down long, flat roads, he comments that it's ancient, with some of its plantations standing for hundreds of years. He says that it's the only part of the country that's been flown under 6 different flags. So it's really a mix of culture, superstition, and folklore. Voodoo, Roman Catholics, Pentecostalism, so many different beliefs rubbing up against each other. They pass a river and an abandoned rundown house, a yield sign bearing the word church. Cotton says that they're all trying to save you. They're all looking to be the answer. There's a lot of illiteracy and poverty, and between that and the stopped-in-time feel of the area, it's the perfect breeding ground for demons and evil.
I know we've, all 3 of us, been fascinated our whole lives by culture and environment, atmosphere of Louisiana.
Yes.
It made me very happy to learn that this film was filmed in Louisiana proper.
I love that.
Okay.
It is in another city standing in.
Yeah.
It's all legitimate.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yes. And I love that the area is really utilized. Like, they're not just there. They're like giving tribute to the history of the area.
Yeah.
Not like maybe Stay Alive or something like that. Cotton stops at a gas station, takes a dry cleaning bag out of the car, and disappears into the bathroom. As he buttons the white shirt closed at his wrist, he muses that you can't fight the devil without the armor. He cinches the tie close to his neck and buttons a vest over it, adding that it is linen, but it's hot down here. After pulling on his jacket and peeking out a silk pocket square, Cotton admires himself in the mirror and admits that he's going to miss this. He grins that maybe he can sell real estate.
I get it, but maybe be careful what you're fucking around with down here.
You know?
Like, you're coming, it's like, oh, I got to look the part and I got to whatever, but you just said there's so much different culture stuff going on down here. Stories, so many. Yeah, he's like, no, it's okay though.
And he's being real light with everything.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch it until you said it, but he was like, gotta wear the armor.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're right.
on.
You're right.
Maybe let's be a little more cautious.
Back in his van, he announces his turn onto the Louisiana interstate before singing, "Demons coming your way." He's having too much fun. Probably too much fun. Clearly excited, he jokes that down here, if you ask 5 people about a demon story, they'll give you 10 demon stories. Iris wonders if they have time for that, and Cotton assures her that they absolutely do. You can tell, like, I know that it's like in his mind altruistic what he's doing, because if you don't hire me, somebody who's going to give you, you know, kind of the changing the Queen of Hearts to the Jack of Spades or whatever, you could hire someone who's gonna fucking hurt you, like, or do something awful that can't be undone. In his mind, he is helping, but you can tell that he's like shifting into that showman mode and getting really excited. Like, watching him from when they left to now, he's like, no, yeah, we have time to stop. Like, he's getting amped up and like ready for showtime.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a little fucked up that he's like, dude, we have plenty of time. And the guy's like, urgently, I need you to read this.
They are waiting for him.
They are.
He's like, let's interview some people. At another rest stop, they stand outside with the shopkeeper, played by Carol Sutton. With the map in his hand, Cotton asks her for directions. Once the shopkeeper tells him the direction to go, she warns him to be careful because you hear so many things about the area down there. We cut to her emphatic that she believes the very gates of hell are right over there off of Bush Drive. The very gates to hell. It's like, goddamn. He put her at ease pretty quick.
Yeah.
She's like, let me tell you what's really going on. A spindly man, played by John Wilmot, is interviewed next, leaning in close to Cotton to share that there was a cult and a temple in the area. He admits that he can't tell him exactly where it is, but once Cotton gets to the Sweetser farm, they'll be able to give him specifics.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This took me a couple watches to catch.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, especially this section, puts me in the mind of the Blair Witch Project.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have to commend these actors, I'm assuming, because they do not come off as actors at all.
No.
I kind of feel like they're real people that were stopped. And I don't think that they are, but that's literally what they feel like. Like in the Blair Witch Project.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say, going through it, there's a lot of people here that just don't have pictures. It's just their names.
The woman that he interviews by the gas pumps.
Right here, yeah.
I was like, these might be locals. But,
Yeah.
But I don't think they are.
No, I don't think they are.
Well, they do a really good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
We cut to a motorist played by Victoria Pontenod who lets them in on the lure as she fills up her car with gas. The guy that ran the cult was so disturbed that he actually thought he needed to feed human souls to the devil. Cotton asks her where the UFO landing site is, and after a sigh, the motorist tells him that that's actually in that direction. Cotton can hardly suppress a smile. I was like, because it's like, oh yeah, which way is the? She's like, no, that's that way.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It is. It's not fair.
No,
not
yeah, no.
And he's like, They continue on their journey, passing more rundown houses and an alligator just vibing in a dry field. Patrick Fabian said that they saw, this is a real alligator that was just out in the grass. I think alligator or crocodile. I don't know. I don't really know the difference. It was just in the grass, and Stamm was like, get the van. We have to shoot that right now.
I think the difference is an alligator, you see it later, and then a crocodile.
I see it after a while.
Yes.
I think you're right. But at the sight of the alligator, Cotton looks over at the camera with some surprise. When they spot a truck in the road coming toward them, Daniel proposes that maybe they could get directions from the driver. Cotton and Iris crane their necks to look back at the past truck as it pulls to the side of the road. The driver, Caleb, played by Caleb Landry Jones, approaches the car with a friendly demeanor.
Caleb Landry Jones. We did talk about him in Get Out.
We sure did.
He consistently makes me uncomfortable. He's very good.
He is. And I can't remember if I mentioned it last time, but I will this time if I didn't. He is an X-Men First Class as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He is, like you said, T, something. I did not remember him being in this at all. And when he walked up to that window, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was immediately terrified. He is such a good actor that
Yeah.
he exudes this oh my God, what's going to happen next?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was also in Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh.
And even in that, I'm like, God damn, why?
He's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Scary, though.
Glancing at the camera, Caleb asks if they're making a movie. Iris confirms that it's a documentary, and he comments that he likes documentaries. Cotton says that that's good. He tells Caleb that they're looking for the Sweetser farm, and Caleb's smile drops. He asks Cotton's name, and once Cotton tells him, he shakes his hand. He addresses the passengers, learning their names, Daniel and Iris. Iris insists that they're a little behind schedule, and Cotton asks again for directions to the Sweetser farm. Caleb tells them that they're going in the wrong direction. They need to make a U-turn. They need to go back on the road they just came in on. They're going to see things they've already seen, but they need to just keep going. They'll hit the highway, and then they can just take that back to where they came from. I was like, oh, these aren't...
No, he's not helping.
No, then why the fuck did you ask for my name?
Yeah, you're meeting us all politely.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Iris and Daniel?
Yeah.
Howard Hamlin? Yeah, you get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And,
Howard Hamlin.
And I felt like a dumbass because as he's doing it, I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then the familiar sites, that's strange. How would he know where we've been?
Oh, we're not wanted here.
No, yeah.
Got it. Iris asks if he's kidding, and Caleb assures them that he's not. Cotton thanks him and starts the van back up. Caleb turns and starts to walk back to his blue truck, but pauses to pick up a rock and throw it at the back of the car. Mud splatters against the back window when Caleb continues his attack. Cotton goes, "What's he doing?"
Drive! Just drive!
And Reese tells him to just go.
What the fuck? Did you just see?
I swear, it's right there.
Yeah.
Look in the rear view.
He's too chill. What's he doing?
What's that stuff he's grabbing back there?
But they do, leaving Caleb behind. They continue going the way they already were, and Cotton realizes that they're approaching the end of the road. But when he spots a tractor and eventually a farmhouse, there's hope. Cotton pulls up onto the property and parks next to a red truck. When someone comes out of the house, Cotton gets out alone, telling the other two to stay here until he makes sure that this is the right place. Cotton steps out and adjusts his tie before walking over to the stranger. Daniel films through the windshield as Louis Sweetser, played by Louis Hertham, is correctly identified, and he and Cotton shake hands. Louis apologizes for his casual attire and explains that it's a work day for him, but Cotton assures Louis that he's dressed for work himself. As they talk, Caleb's blue truck pulls into view and the brakes squeal as he stops. Cotton warns Louis to watch out for this because they met him on the road. But Louis can only offer his apologies. That's his son, Caleb. Cotton offers his own apology, and when Louis dismisses it and asks what Caleb did, Cotton chalks it all up to a misunderstanding. It doesn't matter. Caleb walks past them, eyeing his father on the way to the house. When Louis asks him what he did, Caleb only scoffs that they've got cameras before going inside and slamming the door behind him. Louis turns to ask Cotton about this, but Cotton says that he was getting to that. He points back to his vehicle and identifies his friends, Reese and Daniel. Louis only clears his throat sourly and walks over to the van. He tells them that he would like them to turn the cameras off. Daniel lowers the camera as Cotton concedes that they can turn it off for right now so they can go talk about it. The footage cuts off. When the camera turns back on, Cotton and Louis sit on the porch. They engage in conversation, but we can't hear any of it. Really, Cotton engages in animated conversation and Louis listens contemplatively. Shortly after, Cotton leads Louis in prayer, and while Louis's eyes are closed, Cotton shoots an A-OK symbol at the camera.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm sure he was selling the camera.
Yes.
That's what he
Yes, of
was
course,
doing.
and he's great at it.
He is.
In the barn, Louis pets one of his horses and shares that this was the second bull he lost, along with 2 goats and several chickens. Cotton asks if it could have been an alligator, but Louis explains that an alligator will bite and roll and take chunks, not a straight cut. Cotton is like, "You don't think Caleb could have done this to you?"
It's like, we've seen what he's capable of.
It's like, come on, dude. He just threw some mud at the back of your van.
He didn't threaten you with a sickle or something. I'll do to you what I did to my dad's livestock. Like, that didn't happen.
No.
The camera drops to the slain bull lying in the hay, marred by the straight cut that Louis described. Louis is positive that it wasn't Caleb, it was Nell.
How quick did that letter get there if there's also, like, they left it there?
Oh, the bull?
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is another, because he said it's the second bull. There's been chickens. Maybe it happened again. And he's like, "Oh, you're just in time." Like, I don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's very concerning to hear that.
Yeah, because that's at least like, he said several chickens, 2 bulls, 2 goats. That's a lot of animals.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how much does a small security system cost?
That's also
Like, if I have 8 animals that have been butchered out here, I'm going to start trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Maybe put some cameras up.
That's true.
Instead of being like, we got to outsource this to a priest.
Or just hide in the tree and watch the barn.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
either way.
Something. Cotton asks who Nell is, and Louis clarifies, his daughter. Cotton slaps his forehead, offering sheepishly that he remembers that from the letter. I'm like, are you that cocky, dude, that you didn't even finish reading the letter? And he didn't.
No.
He was like, blah, 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 please, please, please. Okay, let's go to Ivanwood. But later, somewhere in the farmhouse, Cotton admits to the camera that he should have read the letter more carefully, I guess, or at all. He thought that it was Lewis, not Nell. He does not like working with kids. We cut to Lewis unfurling a bloody nightgown. He says that there's one like this every time he loses an animal. Cotton is astonished. She doesn't remember this? Lewis says that she doesn't, and it really frightened her, so he eventually quit asking her about it. A very sweet and innocent-looking Nell, played by Ashley Bell, comes bouncing up the stairs to shake everyone's hand and introduce herself.
Ashley Bell, she does have a credit for Carnage Park in 2016, and one more, but I didn't want to give it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Potential
Yes.
spoiler.
I think it was some years after this, but she was in a film called Psychopaths.
Okay.
And it's one of those films that you go and you see reviews for it, and they are either like half a star or 5.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty pretentious film, but I think that it was pretty remarkable, and she is fantastic in it.
Okay.
She's great in this.
Yeah.
Stamm said that the producers felt like Cotton was going to be the hard role to cast, but Stamm disagreed. He thought it would be Nell. But while Cotton took weeks to cast and hundreds of actors, like we said, the second person to audition for Nell was Ashley Bell.
Okay.
He said that they had even chatted in the waiting room before she knew that he was the director. And talking to her just as herself, he knew that she would be able to play a sweet 16-year-old. But after her very intense audition, which she auditioned a scene that comes way later, after she did that and blew him away, he cast her in the room. He was like, we're not going to find anybody else that can do that.
Hell yeah.
No, she's fantastic in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. But Nell brings them into her bedroom with a friendly smile, and when Cotton asks if she did the artwork on the walls, she shares proudly that she did. We see the religious depictions that she made, and Nell explains that it's actually the story of Esther of Antioch. She says that she's not in the Bible, but it's something she dreamed of. Cotton points at the pieces, commending their detail. He tells her that it's really well thought out, and he's very impressed. Nell giggles shyly.
Now that we've gone inside this house, not just the exterior, I did want to talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
The production designer was a guy called Andrew W. Bowfinger. Now,
Bowfinger?
yeah, calm down.
I didn't know that was a real name.
It
Yeah,
is.
I thought it was
It's
just
a
a movie.
great movie.
But he has a lot of set decoration credits. He did Lisa Frankenstein, Happy Death Day to You.
Oh.
And he is a set decoration buyer for Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Fincher's The Killer.
Holy shit.
Damn.
And I have to say, I feel like this was probably more a matter of set decoration, less production design, because this house that they used was a real house that they found in the 9th Ward. And they literally just used it as is, this plantation house.
Damn.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Fabian said that it was built in the 1860s. And so it is full of history, and a lot of items that are seen on screen are just a part of this home.
Oh, wow.
I would say set decoration obviously enhanced parts that we probably don't even know, but objects as big and crucial as Nell's bed, which we will get to later, was already there.
Oh, that would kind of scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. Just a little bit. I mean, like, maybe we loosen up what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a new bed.
Yeah.
But Nell and Cotton sit across from each other, and he invites her to tell him how she's been feeling and what's going on. He says that her father already told him about the livestock. Nell's smile finally falls, and she admits, fixing Cotton with her dark eyes, that she can only think of one thing. She killed them. Cotton questions if she remembers killing them, and Nell says no. When she tries to add more, he cuts her off with more questions. Does she remember getting out of bed, going downstairs, going outside? Again, the answer is no. Does she remember doing anything to the animals at all? No. Cotton offers that maybe she didn't do anything at all, and Nell's smile begins to bloom again. In a separate interview with Lewis, he tells Cotton that he already mentioned in the letter that his wife passed away 2 years ago from cancer. They thought she'd been successfully treated for breast cancer, but 6 months later, it metastasized in her bones, and 3 weeks after that, she was gone. We get a lingering shot out the window of her lonely gravestone in the grass, with bright red flowers leaned hopefully against it. Our view is of a framed photograph of the smiling Sweetser family, including the departed wife and mother. Lewis continues that it was very hard on Nell, who was only 14 at the time and coming into young womanhood herself. It was very difficult for her. In Nell's interview, Cotton tells her that he saw the pictures downstairs and that Nell looks just like her mother. Nell beams. She takes this as a compliment. Her mother was so beautiful. Cotton adds, well, so is her daughter. She thanks him genuinely, and when Cotton asks if they were very close, tears stand in Nell's eyes, and she nods that her mother was her best friend. She sniffles and averts her gaze until Cotton asks if Caleb acted any different after their mother passed. Nell thinks that Caleb got frustrated, and it was scary because he started to hate God a lot. Cotton asks how her dad took it, and tears roll down as Nell tries to quantify just how hard it hit him. In his interview, Lewis twists the wedding ring still around his finger, admitting that if it weren't for the faith that his wife Dell had instilled in him, he doesn't think he would have made it through. So since she died, he's been very determined to give his kids a more fundamental Christian upbringing. This is when Cotton slides his notebook out of his suit jacket and gets his pen ready. I like that he's like, all right, look, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Lewis says that he's not crazy about the influences that exist in the world today, so he decided to homeschool Nell. As Cotton jots down notes, Lewis says that for a while, he was letting Nell go to Sunday school at the church, but that didn't seem right either. Nell tells Cotton that Pastor Manley didn't only teach religious music, so her father pulled her out. She holds a recorder now, and as she positions her fingers in place, Cotton asks her if her dad likes religious music. Nell is like, yeah. Lewis admits that he's tried to keep Nell as close as he could, and maybe he's even been a little too protective. But somehow still, the devil got in her. As Nell begins to play green sleeves for Cotton, Lewis's voice continues that Nell has a crucifix that her mother gave her, but it burns her. It's the symbol of their Lord, and Nell can't even wear it. Cotton claps for Nell when she finishes playing, and she giggles giddily. Outside, as Cotton takes something from his suitcase in the van and slides it into his pocket, he says that he doesn't know if Nell is killing animals, but he knows that she's very isolated out here, and that's got to be enough to drive you crazy. He proposes that the burning cross is some kind of nickel allergy. You can get reactions like that on your skin, especially if you're stressed out. That's why I can't wear crosses either.
Uh-huh.
I get it, but smoking when it's touching your skin?
That's not a nickel allergy.
No.
He sees that Caleb is sitting in the passenger side of his truck with his head lowered. Cotton goes over and gently asks why he was throwing rocks at him. Instead of answering, Caleb asks if Cotton is still going to perform the exorcism. Cotton replies that he's not sure. That's what he's here to find out. After a moment, Caleb informs Cotton that there's deaths involved with exorcisms. People have died. But Cotton assures Caleb that nothing like that happens with him. He's here to help. Caleb scoffs that they don't need his help, though. Cotton reasons that their livestock do. They seem to be dying left and right. He wonders if Caleb knows anything about that. And Caleb offers what he knows. His father is a superstitious drunk. When Cotton asks if Lewis is superstitious or drunk enough to harm his own animals, Caleb says that it is possible. He doesn't know. Cotton asks point blank if he thinks Nell has anything to do with it. Caleb doesn't. He doesn't think Nell is the problem at all. Nell doesn't need help. Caleb steps up to Cotton, who leans against his truck. He tells him firmly that if anything happens to Nell, he will hurt him. He glances up at the camera and assures Cotton that he doesn't care if that camera is watching. It can watch all at once, but Caleb will hurt him. Cotton accepts this and walks away. Caleb mutters a sarcastic thank you, and Cotton repeats the sentiment dryly.
His thank you sounded a lot like fuck you.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. It is a little wild to think that Cotton is just like, no, yeah, please don't beat me up, kid. It's like, dude, and Daniel's there, and Iris,
It's like, no, we're going to whoop
you
your
guys
ass.
aren't going to help me? What the fuck?
We're documenting.
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's what we've been paid to do.
Yeah, now bring that boom mic over here. You better hit his ass on the head.
Back inside, Cotton presses a stethoscope over Nell's heart. He asks if she's nervous because she can't be nervous when he does this. Nell says that she's not. Cotton checks along the side of her neck, and he asks if she feels pressure. Nell says that she does, and Cotton immediately jots down the response in his notebook. Nell explains that her throat is a little sore because she's been waking up screaming. Cotton is like, so you have a sore throat as well?
That's not what I took from that.
No.
You've been
Why are you waking up
screaming?
Yeah, that.
It's more pressing,
Yeah.
I think.
Back up a little.
Nell stammers that it's just because she's been waking up screaming, and the camera presses in on her as Cotton assures her that there's nothing to worry about. It's absolutely fine. Night sweats and night fevers, loss of appetite, afternoon fatigue. He feels the back of Nell's neck and reacts in subdued alarm. He invites her father over to feel an indentation on the back of her neck. Caleb watches nervously as Nell feels for herself, remarking breathlessly that it might be deeper now, and Cotton affirms that it's a lot deeper now. You don't know.
No.
No.
You have no idea.
What the fuck?
He rolls with it, man. He rolls with it. He sends Lewis to get him a pan of water big enough to put Nell's feet in. Lewis goes, and Cotton instructs Nell to take her socks and shoes off. She does, pulling off her plain black shoes. And when Cotton remarks that they're very pretty shoes, she thanks him modestly. But she likes Irise's shoes. And we pan over to the red Doc Martens on Irise's feet. She offers for Nell to try them on and immediately starts to unlace them. I love these shoes.
They're great.
Oh, yeah.
I want a pair for myself, but that has nothing to do with it. Nell stands in the boots now, admiring them. Irisa's like, you like them? They're yours. Nell tells her no, but Irisa insists. She has a pair of Converse in the car. Nell looks good in them, and she probably can't find them in a 300-mile radius. That felt like shade.
Yeah. It's like, and you live fucking nowhere, so take them.
You're never going to see these again.
It was... It's rough.
The gesture was very nice.
was.
I was gonna say, at least she got some shoes.
Yeah. She's like, they're called boots.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Nell thanks Miss Irise and gushes that this is the nicest thing that's ever happened. She marvels at them, and when Lewis returns with the water, she shows them off to her dad, who does not match her excited energy. Cotton has her take them off and put her feet in the water. Daniel films Nell and Lewis squeezing their eyes shut when Cotton leads the room in a prayer. But Caleb watches as Cotton, with his back turned to Caleb, kneels in front of the water as he prays for Nell. He slips his hand inside of his pocket and drops something in the water before rising to his feet and praying for the Lord to give strength, hope, and clarity. He prays for an unadulterated sign on whether or not they should continue upon this way, down this path. He paces the living room, still praying, but he's cut off when Nell calls out to him breathlessly. The water that her feet are submerged in is now bubbling. The bubbles burst loudly, and Lewis comes over to stick his fingers in the water. Caleb watches all of this unfold quietly, and Cotton confirms that that was just regular water before reporting that that's the temperature change. He was afraid of this. He looks at Lewis gravely. We will proceed with the exorcism. Lewis assures his daughter, stricken silent in her shock, that it will be okay.
It was such a dick move when he turned to Lewis and he's like, is this regular water?
Yeah.
Lewis is like, no, it's the boiling water that we always use. I'm like,
I thought that's what you wanted.
but I was like, man, he is doing good.
He's great at it.
He is a showman.
He is. I mean, it is funny. I know they didn't see, but we're behind him. We do see that.
Yeah, and it's a little cocky that he's like, everybody's going to be bowed in prayer.
Yeah.
Including the kid that Nell just said hates God.
Yeah.
Especially Caleb.
He
That's
definitely
true.
won't be watching.
Yeah. I preferred it when they did this in Constantine. But
Later, Cotton flips through the Hortus Delicarum, explaining his fears that Nell is possessed with the demon named Abalam. Black Betty? Anyone?
yes.
Abalam.
Is that stuck in anyone else's head?
Oh, it will be.
Lewis slides on his glasses and looks at the page Cotton indicated. He asks what language it's in, and Cotton is like, "Oh, you don't read Latin?"
Come on. Man.
Again, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But he said it in a way that, like, if Lewis said no, it's like, huh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll help.
He wasn't like, you uncultured swine. So I'll give it to him.
He offers to translate for him. After offering some mumbled and perhaps invented Latin, he says that Abalam is perhaps the most powerful demon in the entire book. He wraps himself around a coil, the soul, like a snake. That's the temperature fluctuation that Nell is experiencing. But Abalam preys on the flesh of the innocent. He defiles the flesh. Lewis bristles at this word, defile, and Cotton adds that it's particularly bad when he's in young girls. He invites Lewis to look at the drawing of the horned and muscled Abalam, standing unburned in flames, surrounded by towers of smoke. Cotton says that the possessed salvation will only come in death. Lewis is like, the only salvation is death? But Cotton replies smoothly, unless she's exorcised.
You got to be real careful.
Yeah.
That's some shit.
Yeah.
His talent is to have people hanging on his every word and listening to everything he says. It could also be a downfall.
Yeah. Pick your words right.
Yeah, especially when you're saying some really heavy shit.
Yeah. And the most powerful just in that book, because...
Yeah. I did look this demon up, and apparently he's like a cohort to Payman,
Interesting.
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty cool.
My question that kind of like confused me a little bit is what made Cotton settle on Abalam?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Because he's bullshitting.
Yeah.
Outside, Cotton looks up when Caleb comes over to him, calling out with a grin, "You're a fraud." Cotton pretends not to know what he's talking about, but Caleb saw him. He tells Cotton, "You threw something in there." Squinting against the sun, he assures Cotton that it's okay. He won't tell. They shake hands, and Caleb admits in a sigh that he was really good. Heading back toward the house, he tells Cotton that they don't have any problems now. Cotton looks after Caleb, offering no further denial.
I don't know if that'd make me feel shitty or if it would be like, oh, then I can just fucking show my ass off now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'd be kind
Yeah.
of worried.
He's the one I was worried about.
True.
But if he doesn't care anymore and he knows that this is... Because you threw that in there.
Yeah.
So I'm fixing to go perform. So do I, like, levitate or some shit? Or do I, like...
If your real worry was that an actual exorcism might hurt your sister, and now you know that it's not an actual exorcism, then yeah, maybe it's like, we are good now.
Yeah.
And honestly, you've already got Nell and Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was going to be the most difficult person to ever try to convince.
for sure.
And now, you're right. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So let's fucking play it up like we never have before.
We follow Cotton as he heads inside with his suitcases, climbs the stairs, and enters Nell's bedroom. He tosses his things on the bed before testing one of its posts and muttering that this will shake well. He attaches nearly invisible twine to a framed picture and rattles it on the wall. He walks carefully, measuring with his feet the length from one wall to the other. Meanwhile, Lewis runs his daughter a bath. Nell sits by, wearing nothing but a towel and Erisa's red boots. She and her father grasp hands.
This whole section is scored for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, guys.
It's a couple moments. Well, it's like they started editing it because at the beginning it's like John Marcus,
Oh,
blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's right.
so I don't know, but they shouldn't be able to edit this stuff.
No.
Later, Nell sits pensively in the living room, wearing a dress and her new boots. Her father sits next to her in a suit, but Caleb sits in a chair across the room, lounging and reading. But everyone's attention snaps to the creaking door when Cotton pushes it open. He invites them to come on in. As the Sweetsers follow, Lewis snatches the hat off of his son's head. Cotton leads the family into the bedroom he set up. Flickering white candles are set out everywhere, and he tells Nell to get on the bed, lay down or sit down, whatever she wants. Nell lies down, and when Cotton asks if she's comfortable, she answers nervously, "Yes, sir." Cotton tells her that there's nothing to be worried about, and turning his attention to her brother and father, he instructs them that he doesn't need their help unless he asks for it, so he's asking them respectfully to stay over there. All that he needs from them now is their faith, their courage, and their love, because why they are all here today is because they love Nell and they want Nell to get better. Nell agrees to this, and Cotton leads the room in dramatic prayer. He asks if Nell has courage. Yes. Does she believe in Jesus? Yes. Does she believe Jesus can get this demon out of her? Yes. Cotton invites her to let Jesus expel the demon from her. Pressing the Bible against her forehead, he proclaims, "Demon, be gone in the name of Jesus Christ. Demon, cast yourself out. Leave this girl in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, and the blood that washes over her." Nell lies on the bed nervously, and Caleb watches intently as Cotton demands that the demon be gone. A loud growling fills the room. Nell gasps and trembles, and even Lewis's face contorts in fear, but Cotton implores them not to listen to it. Pay no attention. The bed beneath Nell begins to shake, and as Nell whimpers and cries and Lewis steps forward, Caleb is craning his neck up the post to see how this is being done. Cotton tells them again to pay no attention to it. As objects fall and clatter to the floor, Nell lets loose a scream, but Cotton remains firm. Do not pay any attention because he is the father of lies. All he knows are lies, while all we know is the Father of love, the Prince of peace, and the God above who shall save you all. He repeats this, save you all, save you all. Nell clasps her hands together and begins to recite a prayer, cutting it off in a terrified and blood-curdling scream. We immediately cut to outside the farmhouse where Cotton informs us that sound is so important. He holds up a small speaker in his player on which he programs over 800 demon sounds. He mimics,
That's crazy.
It is.
Scamming for life, huh? This
Yeah.
dude,
Scamming
what
for
the
life.
fuck?
The S is a dollar
Yes.
sign.
Uh-huh.
But these fake screams turn to Nell's real ones back in the bedroom. Nell is pleading with Cotton that he's here, but Cotton has his back to her, preparing himself at the vanity. He slides a silver cross ring on each thumb, kisses them, and turns to Nell, continuing his spiel, asking if Nell believes that Christ can heal her. She says that she does. Cotton leans over, holding the sides of Nell's head as she spasms. Lewis's eyes are squeezed shut as he mutters his prayers, but Caleb is watching everything. Cotton implores Nell to believe in Christ and she will be saved. Saved! We close in on Nell's face, red from her screaming, with the silver crosses on Cotton's thumbs framing her, but it goes quiet when we return outside. Cotton shows us 2 9-volt batteries attached to wires. You run the wires down your sleeve and attach it to the rings. They buzz lightly as Cotton makes the connection.
All right, so here's the thing.
Wow.
I can accept like the demon noises, and even I think one of those might have been the Wolfman. But you got fucking
It was a lot.
It was, yeah.
Larry Talbot involved. But this 9-volt battery,
Yeah.
that's where I draw the line.
It's a lot.
I did pause the movie, I'll be honest, and I was like, there's no way this dude's really doing that.
That's too far.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's like we just put a little bit of acid on the sides. It's like, dude, no.
It's like no big deal.
It's hurting her.
But these rings are against Nell's face now, and her body thrashes as Cotton begs her to believe. He goes to his things set out on the vanity and returns with a cross. The shaking bed bangs against the floor, and Nell continues screaming as he thrusts the crucifix at her. Suddenly, Cotton takes a step back and breaks down in tears. Dropping the cross, he admits to Lewis, "I can't do it."
Is this like the James Brown?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was
exactly
going to come
what
put
I
a cape on him.
And then he just starts psyching himself back up. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Lewis tells him that he has to. So Cotton falls to his knees. He picks up the cross and over Nell's screams, he begs God, "Take me. Take the demon from this girl." A roar booms and Cotton is struck. Veins stand out on his forehead as he shakes. And finally, he falls to the floor, grunting and groaning. Nell has gone quiet and we press in on the cross as Cotton croaks, "Praise God." He says that the demon is gone. The demon could not withstand the sight of our Lord. Outside, Cotton fills a canister to place inside the thick crucifix. He indicates the small button on the back before holding the cross up and pressing it. Smoke seeps from the cross, catching Cotton in the eye, but he waves it away and grins. And on the bedroom floor, the crucifix smokes in Cotton's hands. Lewis holds Nell and sobs.
It's excellent work, but
It is. I will be honest, though, talking about it and kind of thinking about it, even, after watching it or whatever, it does seem that Nell was just there also watching this performance. It wasn't so much that she's part of it or we're doing this exorcism. She is just reacting to the bed shaking. She is screaming to the noises, but it doesn't ever seem like she's, you know what I mean? Like,
actually
really possessed or
she's just screaming.
Yeah.
And I think that ambiguity is so important because we're told things and we do see things, but it's nothing that a person could not do.
Yeah.
Her head is not turning around like Reagan.
No.
She's not, like, none of that is happening. It's disturbing, but she's a girl laying on the bed and screaming.
Yeah.
And she is being shocked by 9-volt power.
That is true.
Yes.
That could also be.
Yeah.
I just had a couple things about this. Stamm said that their driver, I guess taking them to set and stuff, casually mentioned one day that his brother had performed exorcisms.
Oh.
So they brought him to set as an expert, and he was there for like the sermons and the exorcisms and stuff. And Patrick Fabian said that it lent itself to this, like, is this dude for real? Because he would tell them stories. There were no pictures. There were no, like, it's just like his word for it, whether this happened or not. You know what I mean? And he said that it was interesting to interact with him and have him there during scenes like this and maybe another scene as well. But also he said that his sole regret of making this film was that he did not steal that smoking cross because it was his favorite prop.
It's a very cool prop.
Yeah.
It is.
I had read an interview with Fabian, and he mentioned that a lot of the rhythm of these scenes is down to the cinematographer.
Okay.
There's a guy called Zoltan Honti, and he actually had a background in documentary filmmaking.
Oh, okay.
He did, I think, some found footage as well because he was a camera operator for the houses October built.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Fabian had said that all these scenes that they would do, they would usually block themselves out as they acted them, instead of it being this, like, hit your mark here and all that. And so it really is down to Honti capturing the vibe of the room and getting all these moments when they need to be caught.
Yeah.
So he has to live, like, in that moment, get.
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you had said all these different takes of each scene.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the same. We didn't rehearse any of that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is excellent camera work and a lot of knowledge of where to shoot and when.
And intuition.
Yeah.
That's really remarkable.
Hell yeah.
I will say, before I start this next scene, John Paul had watched it and taken his notes, and I was still working on the script, and I had gotten to about here. And he and I were talking about it, and I'm defending Cotton because I'm just going to. And he was like, well, I just don't think it's right that he's taking money. And I'm like, well, I don't think that he is. I think that this is just, he's performing this to get it on film and do what he said he was going to do. So then I continue scripting.
Right?
In the living room, Cotton counts a fat stack of cash.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... that's what I'm saying. I get it. You want to perform this service. You want to whatever. Can I get like a discount or something? Or like I don't that was a lot of money, dude.
It was. And it turned my stomach.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money.
Because honestly...
I was like, oh.
The way that he was talking about it with Iris and Daniel,
Yeah.
he was like, "We're gonna expose.
Yes.
We're gonna pick anything from the top of the pile, and this is where we're gonna go."
Yeah.
It really did seem altruistic, even though he did say the thing about the church not running on love.
Right.
I thought that this thing, maybe you're getting paid by the documentary crew.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be like, 50
He's smiling the whole time.
He is.
So.
He is.
I was like, no. And then I started back. I was like, oh. Let me go on and tell John Paul he was right. But Cotton looks through the bills, and when Lewis asks if it's all there, he decides that there's no need to count. The men stand and shake hands, but Lewis pulls the Reverend into a hug. He thanks Cotton and the crew, but Cotton is like, what? Lewis smiles that he was just thanking them, but Cotton is looking up above him, asking again, what? I don't understand. He finally reveals that the Lord has a prophecy for Lewis. The Lord knows Lewis's pain, and he knows that he's sad that his wife is gone, but the Lord is telling him to rejoice because she is with him. He doesn't want Lewis to keep it bottled up inside. He doesn't want him to stuff his anger, sorrow, and burden into a bottle and drink from it. Cotton has slipped into his preacher voice, and he grips Lewis by the shoulders. Lewis looks up to the ceiling as he receives this message from above. His eyes fill with tears, and he promises that he won't. Cotton continues that the Lord doesn't want him to hide. He wants Lewis to smash that bottle and accept the Lord's love in its place. Lewis promises that he will. He's helping.
That's the thing. This is like...
And he did that for free.
He did, but I mean...
Oh, come on.
He was paid a lot. He was paid handsomely. But when I was looking at it, I was like, this is something that Caleb mentioned offhand.
Yes.
And so he is using Lewis's language, the only thing that he can possibly say to maybe get him to stop doing this.
Yeah.
He's just trying to help this family.
And so but also at the same time, you are manipulating the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That's what he's like, what?
Yeah,
No,
you don't have to do all that.
That is just go home, bro. You did enough. You got paid. Go home.
Yeah.
You don't. It is.
He's helping.
I know it does just feel wrong.
It does, because it's
we
like
watched everything else.
you're getting messages
Yeah.
in the moment from God
Yeah.
now.
It was a little.
Pack it up.
Yeah.
He could have maybe done it in another way.
Maybe take this as a second chance.
Yes.
You can whatever. Just from him. Hey, I'm here. I'm a man of God. I'm telling you, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the looking up and like, what?
Lord?
Are you sure? Yeah.
Like, come on.
It was weird.
But I'm also like, does he never expect Lewis to see this documentary?
That's true, dude.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, what then?
Maybe he's lucky what happened.
That's true.
It's nighttime when Cotton, Iris, and Daniel get back to the van. Lewis and Caleb are vague suggestions on the porch ahead, and Iris tells Cotton that was highly impressive, much more than she expected. Cotton thanks her as he clicks his seatbelt into place. Caleb and Lewis come into view as Cotton slowly drives forward. Lewis offers a wave, but Cotton stops the van with something to say. Lewis needs to remember that he took the devil out of his house, but it's Lewis's job to keep him out. Lewis takes this to heart, and a grinning Caleb offers Cotton a thumbs up. Lewis asks if he's sure they can't be convinced to stay the night, but Cotton politely declines in favor of a motel, but he thanks Lewis for his generosity.
Damn, he's good.
He is.
Yeah, son of a bitch. God damn it.
He's got you, man.
He's like, yes, sir. Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Later, they film from behind Cotton as he talks on his phone in the motel room with an uneaten sandwich next to him. Upon hearing news about his wife, he tells Justin to put her on the phone and reminds him to brush his teeth. Once Shanna gets on the phone, he tells her that Justin said she was crying. He asks what's going on, and his head lowers at her reply. He assures his wife that they're paid up on that. If Justin needs a new hearing aid, he's sure that they're paid up. And after a beat, he asks, "Who's Cassandra?" Cotton stands in the bathroom mirror later and shares that he used to want to have a TV ministry. He thought it would be cool, but now all he really wants is health insurance. He starts to brush his teeth. Relatable as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he needs the money for his son.
Yeah.
You start to feel less bad about and 150, 200. You're like, all right. It's not selfish.
It's not.
He sits on his bed afterward and makes sure that Reese and Daniel got everything they needed for their film. Satisfied, they tell him goodnight. Everything looks normal and calm outside, but we suddenly see Reese sprinting to Cotton's room. Daniel keeps up with her, following with the camera, but when he passes Cotton's window, we see, for just a moment, Nell sitting on the bed in her nightgown. Reese asks what she's doing here, and Cotton admits that he doesn't know. She hasn't said a word. Nell looks strange and dazed, and when Cotton asks if she can hear him, she doesn't respond. Their voices hushed. Reese asks about Lewis, but Cotton doesn't know where he is. He says that that's why he went to go get them. He woke up and Nell was just standing there. Reese tells Daniel to stand back and he leaves the room, but he continues to film through the window when Reese approaches Nell and asks gently if she's okay. Cotton brings her a cup of water and Reese brings it to her lips so she can drink. She smooths Nell's hair and Cotton decides that he's going to call her dad. As he looks up the number, Nell starts to behave strangely. She reaches out to stroke Cotton's arm. She unbuttons and pulls at the collar of her nightgown, and she grips onto Reese as Reese tries to lay her down on the bed. A high-pitched score whines. How there's a score, I don't know. But now, I gotta be honest. But Nell starts to kiss and lick Reese's shoulder, ignoring when she tells her to stop. Cotton realizes now that they need to get her to the hospital. Nell sits up and starts to vomit. Cotton carries her as they hurry to the van, and once inside, he admits that he's seen people react, but not 10 hours after the fact when he's at his hotel room. Nell's eyes are closed as she lays in Reese's lap. Cotton continues to point out the impossibilities. Their farmhouse is 5 miles from the hotel, and how did Nell even know where he was staying? He declares that this is why he doesn't work with kids.
What?
This is why.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's like they always follow you.
Yeah.
They fucking teleport to your room.
5 miles to the hotel.
They bring Nell into the hospital, but as soon as the nurse behind the counter, played by Denise Lee, spots Daniel in the camera, she wants to know where he thinks he's going with it. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Reese and Cotton are like, it's okay, he's with us. What the fuck are you?
I know.
The nurse is like, that's fine, but he needs to turn that camera off and take it outside. Daniel's like, no problem, but continues to film her. She demands that he turn it off or she's getting security. Daniel lowers our view to the tiled floor before cutting it off completely. They're sitting in the waiting room when he starts to film again, and he continues when the nurse comes out. She talks to Reese and Cotton, and when she asks if the camera is off, they lie and say that it is. She says that they've got most of the blood tests back and everything appears to be normal, so they're just going to let Nell rest right now. Cotton asks for psychiatric tests, but the nurse maintains that they need parental permission for that. She says that they just have to wait for the rest of the tests to come back.
Did you find it odd that they were mic'd to get the nurse's stuff, but he wasn't mic'd to get Lewis's when he was trying to convince him?
That's true.
You know, he was respecting Lewis's privacy.
Really? Yeah, because he's been real respectful.
Yes, he has. The sun is out when Lewis finally pulls up to the hospital in his red truck. They take him directly over to the nurse, who tells him that she'll try to get in touch with the doctor. Daniel films as Lewis confronts Cotton, rattling off the preacher's story of Nell babbling and standing next to his bed. He demands to know why Cotton watched her do all that and didn't call him, but Cotton says that he did. Nobody answered. He makes it clear to Lewis he feels strongly that a professional needs to take a look at Nell. The nurse comes over with the form for Lewis to sign, and when he asks what it is, she says that it's just a release form. He makes it clear, this isn't to do tests or anything? She says no. Cotton comes over and asks for a form that Lewis could sign to get psychiatric tests done, but Lewis gives him a flat no, and since he doesn't want the forms, the nurse leaves to go get the doctor. Cotton continues pleading with Lewis that Nell needs help, but the chattering stops when the nurse leads Nell down the hall. She is still staring and dazed, and Lewis, Cotton, and Erie swarm her as Daniel films. They ask Nell if she remembers being in the motel last night, and Nell answers softly, "I think so." The nurse asks if Lewis wants to wait for the doctor, but he says emphatically that he does not. In the van, it is a quiet ride back to the Sweetser farm. Once there, in the living room, Lewis yells, demanding to know what happened. Cotton stammers that he believes the demon is gone, but it's as if Nell's house has been vandalized. The robber is gone, but someone still needs to come and make things right again. Hell yeah, dude, that is fucking...
Thinking on your feet.
Yes!
It is, but I would be fucking furious.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're the dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, we have to commend his ability to try to clean this up.
Yeah.
But this is the bed you made.
It is. That's what sucks, because it's like, no, there definitely was, like, there was a demon.
Promise.
But it's like, now she needs help. Lewis is incensed. He tells Cotton not to slough it off to the big city doctor thing. Doctors couldn't save his wife or prolong her life one day, and psychiatry is not of God. Cotton offers that sometimes the tools that God provides us aren't always the ones that we recognize, but Lewis quotes that our weapons of war are not carnal. They are mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. When he asks Cotton if he's right, Cotton clasps his hands and allows that he is absolutely right, and amen to that. His words belie his visible frustration. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because it is. Like,
It is.
I fed this.
Yes,
Like, I've cultivated this.
He did.
Like,
And Lewis's backstory, the unfortunate passing of his
Yes.
wife,
Yeah.
it only makes everything fit in a very unfortunate way.
Mhm.
yeah. As they walk back to the van, Cotton tells Erise that Lewis is stuck on the thought that Cotton is some big city preacher. Now he's not going to listen to a word that he says. He decides that they need to get somebody local. They get in the van and make their way to the church. Inside, they are greeted by Becky Davis, played by Becky Fly. They shake hands, and after Cotton introduces himself and says where he's from, Becky immediately clarifies that it's Baton Rouge. Cotton says that he's looking for Pastor Manley, and Becky leads the way. She goes, "So what y'all doing?"
Again, a lot of people just feel like locals.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. Cotton says that they're making a movie, and when Becky asks if they're shooting it right now, she's excited to hear that she'll be in it. She takes them to Pastor Manley, played by Tony Bentley, who greets them warmly.
Tony Bentley, he does have a credit in 12 Years a Slave from 2013.
Oh. They sit down, and Cotton explains that Lewis respects the church, but at this point, Cotton is an outsider, so he's not respecting his opinion. He says that he's really pushing for Nell to see a doctor because she's not well, and he's hoping that Pastor Manley can back him up. Pastor Manley nods with understanding, and he tells Cotton his personal history with Lewis. When Nell was unexpectedly pulled out of Sunday school, they never found out exactly why, but Lewis was hostile. He thought the Sunday school curriculum wasn't medieval enough, and he makes it clear that this was not the Lewis that he used to know. Cotton asks if Lewis threatened him, and Manley says that he didn't threaten him, but voices were raised. He's thinking, though, that he's probably the last guy that Lewis would want to take counsel from. He says that he wasn't afraid during the altercation, but it was very uncomfortable. Cotton wonders how long ago this was, and Manley supplies. It's probably been 2.5 years since he's seen Nell. Cotton is surprised to hear that the Sweetsers haven't even come to church, but Manley says that he heard about the homeschooling as well, and he's not one to say if that's right or wrong, but he will say that Nell was vibrant and happy when she was here, and being cut off wasn't the best thing for her. Cotton asks point blank if Manley will come out to the farm with him, and Manley concedes that if Lewis agrees for him to come, he would be happy to. He also has a good friend who's the psychiatric head of the department in Baton Rouge. He can line that up for Nell. Cotton thanks the pastor and shakes his hand, and with this quest completed, he heads back to the farm.
Very perfect.
Yeah. They got really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I do appreciate him doing all the legwork.
Fair.
But listening to his story, it's like, is this going to cause more harm?
I don't know. And also, I didn't like his added detail of like, and I wasn't afraid of Lewis or anything. It's like, hey.
I think you were afraid of him.
Nobody said that at all. So you were afraid of Lewis?
When they pull up, they see Lewis and Nell standing in the field. Nell is visibly troubled, and when she turns and runs from her father, Lewis snatches her by the wrist and drags her back toward the house. As they pass, Lewis tells Cotton and the crew angrily that she's fine and to turn that damn camera off. Nell is sobbing now, and as they hurry away toward the house, she moans, "I cut my brother." They find Caleb inside, clutching a towel to his bleeding face over the sink. Cotton gives Caleb a pad and paper to write, and when he grips it with his red-stained hands, we see the deep gash cut vertically into his lips. It looks rough.
It does.
Yeah.
Cotton paces, and his breath catches when he spots the bloody knife on the floor. Iris presses a towel to Caleb's mouth as he jots his message. Lewis starts toward them, calling out for his son, but before he enters the room, Cotton snatches the note from the pad, folds it, and slides it inside his jacket. As Caleb's breaths come ragged, Lewis tries to comfort him. He says that Caleb was trying to calm Nell down, and she attacked him with a knife. Lewis decides that he's got to get Caleb to the hospital. He asks Cotton to take him, but Cotton places a hand on his shoulder and asks sincerely, "What if the demon comes back? Cotton needs to be here for that."
See, this is where we're...
No, it was smart.
It was wise, but it's also manipulative.
It is.
Well, what else is new?
It does. I'm going to be honest. I was a little torn because you're asking me to take your son a minute ago. You know what I mean? He didn't care for me.
Yeah.
Right. You want me to take him to the hospital? You know he doesn't like me. Or do I stay here and watch your daughter who I just exercised or whatever?
Yeah.
And then, like, what?
It's a difficult place to be in.
Yeah. But I mean, it is quick thinking.
It is.
I need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton opens the passenger door of Lewis's truck so that Lewis can help Caleb inside. As the Sweetser men pull off of the property, Cotton tells Iris to read what Caleb wrote. She holds the note up for the camera, the words stacked on top of each other, the lined paper streaked with Caleb's blood. Don't leave her alone with him. Cotton explains that that's why he wanted to stay.
So it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But that can be taken in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They head upstairs in the farmhouse and knock on Nell's door, where she is loudly sobbing inside. Cotton tries to twist the knob, but it's locked. And when they find the key still jutting from the door, they realize that Lewis locked her in. They walk inside, and Iris is furious to find Nell chained to the bed, the metal wrapped around the ankle of the boot that Iris gifted her. Cotton says that they need to find something to get her out. They go out to the barn to look through the tools, and back in Nell's bedroom, Cotton and Iris saw at the chains. Nell sobs that she's bad, but Cotton tells her repeatedly that she is not bad. Her voice wavering, Nell pleads that her dad is going to be so mad when he comes home and she's not chained up. She's not going to go to heaven, but Cotton promised her that she is going to heaven.
I don't know what kind of punishment you get for like giving your brother a second mouth or something, like, because she
sliced the shit out of him.
Yeah, she did.
But I don't know. let's not chain the kid up.
No.
I was really shocked
Yeah.
when they go up there and that's what's going on.
Yeah.
No, this looks really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we cut to Nell sitting in front of a glass of milk at the dining table. She explains to Cotton that she heard Caleb screaming, and when she woke up, his face was cut. Cotton asks if Caleb frightens Nell. Has he ever hurt her or teased her? But Nell is certain, no, never Caleb. So Cotton asks the next logical question flat out. Nell, has your father ever hurt you? The answer doesn't come as quickly to Nell this time, but after a pause, she replies, no. Cotton assures Nell that she can tell him, but she only repeats softly, no. Cotton decides that it's time to get Nell back into bed, and she agrees and obliges without another word. That night, we get shots of the Sweetser home, a decorative cherub, a framed depiction of Jesus donning the crown of thorns, his eyes rolled back, a ceramic woman on the mantle, her head lowered and her praying hands pressed in front of her. The grandfather clock ticks loudly as Cotton and Iris sit in silence, waiting for Lewis and Caleb to come back, but the silence is broken by the piercing cry of a baby.
Nope.
No.
No!
Can we stay at the hotel again?
Yeah.
And she can stay here.
Yeah, that's
Nell's
fine.
asleep. We're fine.
Yeah, dude. He's got to be back sooner or later.
Yeah.
Right? With Caleb.
Yeah.
Daniel films Cotton and Iris hurrying up the stairs, but they stop on their way to Nell's room when they spot her, standing in the middle of the dark hall, her figure silhouetted by the lamp behind her. In a whisper, Iris asks if she's sleepwalking. Cotton admits that he doesn't know, but when he sees that Nell is whispering, he decides that she isn't. As Daniel presses in with the camera, we can barely make out Nell's gaze leveled at them. She starts to walk toward them slowly, ignoring Cotton when he asks her if she can hear them. Nell quickly darts into the bathroom, though, and we follow the concerning sound of sloshing water and another desperate baby's cry. They find Nell kneeling in front of the bathtub and holding something thrashing beneath the shallow water inside. The footage goes wild, and we get flashes of a small face beneath the water. Cotton pulls Nell away, but when Iris pulls the small being out, it's only a doll. Nell wakes, screaming, but Iris comforts her. She was only giving her doll a bath. That's all.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. I'm not qualified for this shit.
No.
This is too much.
Did you see the way she was looking at us down the hall?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to go bathe my doll now. No, she wasn't.
No,
No.
it wasn't.
That's horseshit. I understand you got to be in denial to keep this thing going, but that was the scariest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah. Hell no.
Nell goes rigid as Cotton helps her out of the bathroom, and we get a lingering look at the doll, which I guess Iris put back in the water
wasn't clean.
beneath the wavering surface. As Cotton tucks Nell into bed, he tells her that she looks better. He can see her eyes now. But Nell is quiet and uneasy, and she does not look better. Cotton finds another piece of art, not as holy and wholesome as the collection on her wall. This features a white cat, its eyes depicted as X's and bright red bloody splotches embruing the page. He asks if Nell made this, but Nell looks shocked to see it. She says that she didn't.
What are we to do?
Yeah.
Where is your family?
Yeah.
They've been gone forever.
Yeah.
It's like night now.
Let's call the hospital.
Seriously.
Later, Iris plays back Nell's whispering that they caught. She turns it up, revealing Nell is speaking feverish Latin. Cotton says that he didn't know she knew Latin. Iris proposes that maybe Lewis taught her, but Cotton knows that Lewis doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Iris continues the playback, and when the baby's cries are heard, she asks if it's Nell making those noises, and Cotton says that it is.
So it does sound like Nell now.
Yeah.
It
That's
did
not
not.
what it sounded like.
it didn't.
And I'm kind of like irritated with Cotton right now because first off, he made it as if he did know Latin. Why don't we ever learn what she said here?
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
And-
I mean, when he was explaining it to Lewis, it was very like
But-
I don't know if I don't know.
That's the thing, though. If he doesn't know Latin, he does know a motherfucker that's done 150 exorcisms that maybe he could call.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, why isn't he calling his pop?
I don't
Get me, I'm
know.
scared.
Because it's starting to get a little more real by the second.
Yeah.
But I think that it's so like he's so deep in this belief that none of this is real. That it's not even like a factor.
Okay.
Like this cannot be real.
Well, at least share the Latin with your dad.
Yeah.
Or at least call and be like, look, this one's a little more than what I am used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the tape, Erisa's voice calls Nell's name gently, and the scream she lets loose in response causes Erisa and Cotton to both jump. After taking a moment to wash his face in the bathroom sink, Cotton joins Erisa in the kitchen where she looks stricken, listening to a message on the answering machine. She plays it back for Cotton, where a Dr. Kyle from Ivanwood General warns for Nell not to take the Halcyon because the person that prescribed it did not know that she's pregnant.
What?
He drones on, advising Lewis to give Nell Pepto-Bismol for her nausea, but Cotton and Erisa have locked eyes in disbelief. Afterwards, Erisa decides, there you have it, your underlying trauma. Cotton points out that all they heard was that she's pregnant. They don't know who she's pregnant by, but Erisa is positive that they're dealing with incest. Cotton warns that she can't say that sort of thing down here. It could ruin a person's life. But Erisa is sure that it's all right there. It's been obvious. Cotton asserts calmly that they need to wait for Lewis to come back and talk to him. But Erisa is emphatic that they need to talk to Nell and they need to leave. Cotton reminds Erisa that that's kidnapping, but Erisa is furious and disgusted, positive that Lewis is assaulting his daughter and they're doing nothing to stop it. Cotton turns to the camera and suggests that maybe it's time to take a break. Erisa is still pissed, but she relents when Cotton says that no matter what, they have to wait for Lewis. Daniel finally lowers the camera and turns it off.
I understand because everything looks bad.
Yes.
But
It
I'm
looks
glad
awful.
that he kept his head on straight because if we do take off with her, that is kidnapping.
Yeah.
I would probably be at risk for kidnapping.
Nobody's
This
going to
looks-
listen to us until
Yeah, but this looks really fucking bad.
it does.
And then the fact that when they were at the hospital, he's like, this isn't for any testing, right? Like,
Yeah.
this looks really fucking bad.
Yeah.
I would think the exact same thing, and I would want to snatch that kid and get her the fuck out of
yeah.
here.
I think, but why don't you call the police and have them waiting for when
Yeah.
he returns?
Yeah.
Then you're not really at risk of looking like you've kidnapped somebody, but you're also taking care of this problem that really seems to be happening.
And it does because of what that
That's true.
that shows the baby stuff too.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it makes too much sense. It looks really bad. When the camera turns back on, it's held down at someone's side. We see the hem of Nell's white nightgown, as well as her new boots, the chain still wrapped around one of them as she walks. She sets the camera down, and just out of focus, Nell sits in front of the mirror, pulling at her face unnaturally. She cracks her neck before picking up the camera and turning it off.
See, this really does look like a demon getting used to being in a body.
It
Yeah.
does.
So, I mean, maybe we're back to that.
She's outside when she turns it back on again. The lights on the outside of the barn cast everything in an unnatural red glow, technically making The Last Exorcism 2010 a Giallo film.
There was red.
It was.
I'm extremely upset. I'm about to be more upset with where the scene goes. So
I
let's just
know.
continue towards that.
Yes, now that we've established.
Oh,
So
God.
Nell walks inside and scans the camera along the workbench and tools, the hay scattered in a thick carpet on the ground. But she finally sets her sights on a sweet white cat, cowering in the corner and looking up at her. Nell gets closer, letting out a low growl, and the cat screeches as everything goes chaotic. Nell pants louder and louder as we're brought down again and again. And when the violence stops, where the cat once sat is nothing but a bloody mess. The lens of the camera is streaked with blood when Nell turns and walks back to the house. I was devastated. This was already kind of telegraphed.
Yeah, but still.
But come on.
Yeah, not cool.
No, that was my new favorite character.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
here we are.
I thought we were going to kick it with the cat.
Yeah.
No. Unfortunately not.
Couldn't that have just been the rest of the film?
Yeah. just hanging
Everything's
out.
fine.
Yeah, we just follow this cat around.
Inside, she heads upstairs, breathing deep and low, nearly growling. She pushes the door open to the room where Cotton lies on the couch, sleeping. I was surprised to see him asleep.
Yeah.
I know that we've been here for a long time, and he didn't get any sleep last night at the motel.
True.
Yeah.
But Nell smacks her lips. She pants. Her breathing grows erratic as she gets closer and closer to Cotton. Finally, she raises the camera, just as she did with the cat in the barn. But before she can bring it down, Iris calls her name sternly from the doorway. Nell's breathing immediately changes, and Cotton jumps up from the couch. He coaxes the camera away from her as Nell sobs an apology. Later, Daniel and Iris unscrew the broken, bloody lens and peer inside the camera with the flashlight, confident somehow that it's going to be fine.
Well, they know more about cameras than I do.
Yeah.
But when Cotton makes a discovery, they go into Nell's bedroom where that picture of the bloody white cat is up on the wall. But we glide to the picture next to it where the cutout of a man is stricken dark by the massive flames in front of him. Still, he defiantly holds up his cross against the fire. Cotton guesses that maybe it's the house on fire. But in the very last picture on the wall, they find perhaps the worst depiction of all. Daniel lies with his camera thrown to the side and his head cut off. Iris is in multiple pieces with an axe dropped next to her. Cotton is engulfed in flames, still gripping his cross. They all have X's for eyes and an endlessly yawning hole for a mouth. Dead.
So you like drawing fucked up pictures of people, huh?
Literally.
I was like, God damn.
Dude, I'm concerned.
Yeah. When did you even have time to do that? We've been with you all night.
No shit. That's true.
And still, they decode it. Cotton is in the fire. Iris is cut into a million pieces and Daniel gets his head cut off. Iris realizes that Nell is even worse off than she thought, but Cotton can't take his eyes off of the pictures. In the living room, Cotton's like, what aren't you comfortable with?
What?
I know.
For starters.
Yes.
Daniel tells him sincerely that he's not comfortable staying in a house with someone who's drawing pictures of his head being chopped off.
Yeah.
Cotton tells him to relax because it's just a bunch of drawings from a little girl's imagination.
Little girl. Well, come on.
Right.
You're
I know.
just doing your best to make it less and less.
She's a baby. Daniel agrees that imagination is one thing, but she is killing animals and she cut her brother up pretty good. Cotton dismisses this, asking if Daniel really thinks that Nell is going to hack him to pieces. Daniel says that he's not thinking that, but they do have evidence of Nell being dangerous before. Iris agrees with Cotton. They're just drawings. They happen to be in the house, so they happen to end up in the drawings. Look, dude. No. All right.
Yeah,
and I've been having Cotton's back. But hell fucking no, dude.
this is the gripe I do have is this little them being like, it's okay. You're experiencing the same thing we're all together going through.
Mm-hmm.
We're not having fun. Everybody was concerned a minute ago, and now it's like, no. It's okay. You're not going to die like that. What?
And
Even though the cat.
Yeah. It's the same thing with the whole, well, she was just giving the doll a bath. Like, I understand maybe this film is really important to you,
Yeah.
but
Come
this
on.
is beyond our experience.
Oh, yeah.
Cotton reminds everyone that Nell is a 16-year-old girl. If they need to overpower her, they can. But Daniel maintains that a 16-year-old girl and a 16-year-old psychopath are two different things. Cotton agrees that she's psychotic, but she's not capable of cutting Daniel's head off. Before the conversation can escalate to full bickering, Iris pleads with them to take it easy. They need to keep things in perspective. They're all tired, but they're here to help Nell. Daniel agrees, but we get one more shot of the drawings and the trio's grisly and imagined fate that Nell depicted. Cotton is going back and forth in Nell's room, but Daniel has stayed behind in the hallway, filming around the cracked door at Nell, who sits on the bed, still and staring. When she locks eyes with him, he backs away, and I get it. Cotton comes out of the room and locks Nell inside, and Daniel gets a lingering look at the key sticking out of the door. Later, Cotton sits in silence, reading as he waits. Daniel gets shots of the still farm at night and the bright moon suspended in the dark sky. Crickets chirp their song as Daniel focuses on the upstairs window of Nell's bedroom and the softly glowing light seeping through the lace curtains. Inside, the camera is snatched up, catching snippets of Nell's muffled voice, seemingly in conversation with a man. As we get closer to her bedroom door, we hear her proclaim flatly, "He's a liar. I'm gonna kill them both." When Cotton asks if Daniel hears that, the cameraman confirms. It sounds like two people. Cotton unlocks the door and opens it to find Nell, still sitting on the bed facing the door with her hands clasped in her lap and her back straight. When she looks up at him with her dark eyes, Cotton asks who she's talking to. Nell responds, "No one." Cotton takes a look around the room as Nell fixes her gaze on us, and just as Cotton closes the door, obstructing our view of her, a smile begins to spread across her lips.
We should probably just go.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that deep voice was unsettling.
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
That was scary.
Oh, yeah, we're done here. I think.
Yeah.
We already got paid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No need to count it.
No. Although he did. I didn't want to say.
He did.
He stopped.
Well,
Cotton locks the door and looks over at Daniel uneasily, and Daniel swears that he heard two people in there. Finally, the moment is interrupted by the rumbling of Lewis's engine, and we see the headlights of his truck shining through the window. Daniel films as Lewis walks alone up to the house. We cut to the trio playing the answering machine message for Lewis, the doctor's voice warning the father not to give Nell the halcyon because she's pregnant. Lewis shakes his head as he listens before looking up at Cotton with the realization. The book was right. When Cotton doesn't understand, Lewis repeats himself. The book was right. The demon defiled my daughter. When Cotton can't muster a response, Lewis puts the pieces together. Nell was a virgin. How could she get pregnant? The book said it, and Cotton showed it to him. Again, fuck.
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But Cotton asserts that he doesn't think the book has anything to do with this. They're dealing with more earthly matters now. Still, Lewis pleads with Cotton to perform another exorcism to get rid of it. He can't let that thing grow inside Nell. Cotton gently refuses, but Lewis begins to cry, begging for the Reverend to perform another exorcism to help him and help Nell. As Iris watches, Cotton repeats that he doesn't think the demon has anything to do with this. Lewis pleads for Cotton to save Nell's soul, but Cotton says again that Nell doesn't need an exorcism. What she needs is a doctor. He prefaces that this must be very hard for Lewis to hear, but Nell's welfare is what everyone is concerned with. He asks, "Right, Lewis?" But Lewis is dazed. He tells Cotton that if he can't save Nell's soul, he will. Cotton asks what he's talking about, but Lewis decides that it's time for them to leave his property. If they're not all gone in 5 minutes, he will consider them trespassers. Cotton tries to protest, but Lewis abruptly turns and walks away. They all follow, but find that Lewis has left out the back door and is kneeling and praying at his wife's grave.
That is a terrible sign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm Iris and Daniel, I'm starting to get a little pissed off at fucking Cotton's showmanship. Because this is all you.
Yeah.
It really is.
It backfired.
Yeah. Looking at him through the window, Cotton reasons that Lewis doesn't want to take her to a doctor. And when Iris asks what they're going to do, Cotton admits that he doesn't know, but he doesn't want to wait around to see what Lewis is going to do to Nell. He thinks he might try to hurt her, but Daniel reiterates he's going to kill Nell. Cotton told him that death is the only salvation. Cotton's like, I know.
It's like, I was just trying to put a little hot sauce on that earlier. Got a little too spicy now.
He decides that they're just going to have to take her and go. They look to make sure that Lewis is still praying outside, but Reese reminds them that there are a lot of guns in this house. Just then, the lights go off, shrouding everything in darkness. There's a loud clattering and thudding upstairs, and when Daniel switches the camera's light on, we see the twinkling light fixture shaking under the weight of the ceiling. Cotton and Reese hurry up the stairs with Daniel close behind. Once they reach her door, Nell screams and the door thuds as something bangs against it. Cotton hurries away to find the key, but we stay at the door with Daniel and Reese, listening as the reedy version of Greensleeves is played through Nell's recorder on the other side of the door.
Ooh.
The banging continues and the notes whine out of rhythm and out of tune, but Cotton returns with the key. As soon as he unlocks the door, all the noises stop. Cotton pushes the creaky door open to find Nell's bed empty, but the room in disarray. They find the window open and Cotton peers through, looking toward the red-lit Giallo barn. But when
That's about enough of that.
But when Daniel turns back toward the room, he catches Nell, sitting high atop her armoire, holding her knees to her chest and staring at him over her shoulder.
Don't like that.
No. I do want to say I'm a little confused. She does appear to be bothered. We do know we've witnessed some strange things happen. I know we did get the news of the pregnancy and all that, and then do a quick fake exorcism, whatever, throw some holy water, something. Okay, let's go to the hospital now, dude.
Right.
I helped you. Let's whatever. You're just trying to help. If you're trying to help, just do it. Do it fast. Okay, now can we go to the hospital?
Yeah.
That's the logical.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like, dude, we're putting everybody in danger.
It's like, this is beyond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton gently coaxes Nell down from her high perch, reaching up and carrying her down to the floor, but Nell gives no reaction. She stares forward, but a smile begins to creep at her lips, and Cotton suddenly reacts in pain. Nell hurries away from him, scrambling on the floor like a trapped animal. The camera's light glints off the scissors she's got clutched in her fist, and no one can stop her before she runs out the door and down the stairs.
I didn't have her shanking him on my bingo card. Thought there'd be another way to get away.
It's like, I thought she was just a little girl, right?
It made me think of Bender's friend, Roberto.
Stay stabbing. They sprint after Nell, the cacophony of their banging feet mounting, but stopping once they reach the first floor, and Nell isn't anywhere to be seen. We see now that she has slashed Cotton across the palm with those scissors. He unveils this, but assures that it's not that bad. A low rumbling emanates as they slowly search the first floor for Nell, peeking into rooms and around corners, but it's not until they walk past a window that Cotton spies her. Nell stands in the darkness of the night just outside the farmhouse, both arms jutting out to their sides and her head lolling onto her shoulder, a mockery of the crucifixion. Reese asks what she's doing, and Cotton's like, I don't know.
You don't know?
I know, dude.
It's like, I've never seen anything like it.
Nell lowers her arms and walks away, still keeping her gaze focused on them. They head outside where the crickets still chirp loudly, and they walk slowly past Lewis's truck looking for Nell. But when the lights come on in the farmhouse, Cotton decides that Lewis is there and it's time now for them to leave. They can call the police from the hotel. They're about to get in the van when Reese sees that Nell is sitting on the front steps of the farmhouse. Reese calls Cotton's name to draw his attention to her, but when he walks slowly up to the house calling Nell's name, she begs for them to just please go. Cotton holds his hands up in a sign of peace, and Nell begins to sob, holding hers up as well. Daniel and Reese whisper harshly at Cotton, but he ignores them, coming closer and closer to the disarmed and crying Nell. But as soon as they get close enough, Nell's face twists in anger and she screams, launching herself at the camera. Cotton is able to grab a hold of her and pull her away, but the two of them fall to the ground, and when Nell starts to attack Cotton, he pins her down in the grass. This is when the crack of a gunshot splits the night, and the camera catches a glimpse of Lewis walking toward them, holding his shotgun. They beg for him to put the gun down, and with no recourse, they run back up to the farmhouse. Lewis's gunshots echo, shattering the windows of his own home, but Cotton presses forward, still carrying Nell, who shrieks and grasps out at the camera as we follow. Inside, Reese locks the front door, but Lewis is obviously able to unlock it and kick it open. I was like, God, this is his house.
He owns the place.
Yeah.
Nell is still fighting Cotton, and as he and Reese run to the kitchen, Daniel hides. He films as Lewis corners them with his gun. Nell begs him to shoot her, but Cotton plays the only card he has left. He was wrong. Lewis was right. Nell is possessed, and he'll do another exorcism. Lewis takes this in as Cotton shields Nell with his own body. It's raining the next morning when Cotton admits that he wanted to make this documentary to save children, and now he's going to get her killed. He asks Reese what she would have said, and she admits that she doesn't know. It's a no-win situation. If Nell were to admit that she's pregnant, then what? She decides that soon they're all going to have a shotgun in their face, and she wonders what a second exorcism could possibly accomplish. Cotton just stares forward. Later, Daniel films him through the window, standing alone outside in the rain with his head lowered and his hands clasped at his waist. He slides the rigged cross in the back of his pants and covers it with his cream suit jacket. And yes, there's a score here.
The most beautiful strings. So at least they finished the documentary.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, definitely. Daniel follows as Cotton walks into the barn and finds Nell sitting in the hay. Lewis stands by pensively, still gripping his shotgun. Cotton lowers himself to the floor and says that he didn't get the demon out the first time, and that's his fault. But if Nell can be strong, they need to do it one more time. He asks if she can do that for him, but Nell shakes her head. She doesn't think so. Cotton says that he only needs to see the demon one more time, and crying, Nell admits that it's not that she doesn't think she can, it's that she doesn't know how to do it. It comes involuntarily, and she has no control over what happens to her. But Cotton asserts that he thinks she can if she wants to. Nell maintains that she wanted to get better last time, though. She couldn't have wanted it any more than she did last time. Cotton says that he knows and he's sorry. He failed Nell last time, but he promises that this time he won't. He says that he knows that she can do it if she'll just allow herself. We cut to Nell, sweating and shaking, lying in the hay with Cotton's hands cradling her head. He asks if she can hear him, and she can, but she says that she feels like she's falling a lot. Cotton assures her that he's got her right here, and when Nell says that it's getting hard to see him, he promises that he's not going anywhere. Lewis watches worriedly, and Reese, in filmmaker mode with her microphone, shoots an uneasy glance at him. Nell grips Cotton's hand, but suddenly asks, "What was that?" The low rumbling starts again, and when Nell asks for help because it's coming, Cotton tells her gently to let it. Nell begs him to just get it out of her skin. She's agitated, panicking, rubbing at the skin of her arm, but suddenly her bones crack and she goes rigid. She cocks her neck unnaturally, startling Daniel and Reese, but she keeps moving this way, her air strained and choking. Lewis proclaims that it has her. Finally, Nell leans forward, the curtain of her hair hiding her face. Cotton calls out to her, and Nell answers in a flat and grave tone, "Reverend Marcus." She laughs and accuses, "I hear you don't believe in me." Cotton asks, "Who are you?" Nell leans onto all fours and answers, detached, "Abalam." Cotton asks where Nell is, and she answers this too. In the fire. She's been there for some time. As Nell contorts backwards, she adds coolly, soon you'll join her. Lewis begins to sob, but Cotton implores him not to believe the demon's lies. Nell laughs at this, bending backwards, her neck bones crunching as she looks up at Cotton. The demon's lies? She stays that way, bent backward, her long hair trailing the hay on the ground. Cotton watches, his face sweaty before he snaps to action. He invokes the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, compelling the demon to leave this girl. He continues his prayer, his casting out as Nell writhes, her face contorting. Finally, she stands and screams, words, words, words. Cotton stops talking and stares, and Nell offers a proposition. If he can keep quiet for 10 seconds, he'll let the girl go. Cotton agrees, and the two face each other. Nell raises a hand and counts. 1. She snaps her own pinky, breaking it and screaming. Lewis watches in fear, and Cotton stops himself from lunging at Nell. He looks around perilously as Nell counts to 2 and snaps her ring finger. She shrieks, and Lewis cries out, no! Nell warns, 3, but Cotton begs her to stop it.
It's fair is fair, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
on the cool.
Lewis, shut the fuck up. Like, dude, close your eyes.
Yeah.
We can get her some new fingers.
I know you didn't say you were going to do that.
No.
But you didn't say that you know what I mean?
Right. And if that's all you're going to do?
Yeah, that's fine. I can look away.
Yeah.
Nell just laughs, informing Cotton sing-song. You lose.
God damn it.
She lowers herself to the ground in a split. Cotton turns to Lewis with a tear rolling down his face as a tense score pulses. He starts to apologize to the father, but Lewis tightens his grip on the shotgun and demands that Cotton do something. Nell offers, I'll do something, Daddy. With a grin, she turns to Cotton, offering, Reverend, how about a blowing job? Cotton turns to her, asking, what did you say? He walks over and lowers himself to the ground where Nell still sits in a split, eyeing him tauntingly. He asks her what a blowing job is. When she only pants and offers no reply, Cotton decides that she doesn't even know what it is. She doesn't even know that that's not what it's called because she's not a demon. A demon would know what that is, but maybe not a 16-year-old homeschooled girl because Cotton doesn't think she is a demon. He thinks she's an innocent girl. This gets to Nell, and she counters with emphatic no's, pressing her hands to her ears. She screams to block out his words, so Cotton only gets louder, repeating that he thinks she's an innocent girl who doesn't know what she's talking about. Nell continues to scream, finally bellowing, she isn't innocent! She repeats this, her voice wavering this time when she begins to sob. Cotton pulls her into a hug, comforting her as she weeps. He tells Daniel to turn the camera off, but he continues to film Nell as she weeps again and again. She isn't innocent. Cotton holds her, snapping at Daniel again to turn it off. And when Lewis repeats this in a yell, Daniel finally lowers the camera and it cuts to black. So the day before they filmed this scene, Stamm said that he and Ashley Bell were in the hotel lobby waiting for everyone else. And he asked her, because I guess he was really collaborative, if she had any ideas for, anything about this exorcism scene. She's like, actually, yeah, I do. And that she'd been working on something physical. She stands up in the lobby and does this backbend.
Oh, shit.
Good Lord.
Stamm said that he was in awe and knew that they had to use it. And that the best part was that Patrick Fabian was not there. So he didn't see it coming at all when they did it during, filming. And Ashley Bell said that Stamm nailed her boots to the floor to stabilize her. And she's really just bent back like that.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
And she said that she is very active and I think she said double jointed as well.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, this is her. This is all her.
That would scare me.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're doing the scene, you start doing it's like, hey, wait, cut.
Yeah.
That's a real demon.
There might actually be. I was so impressed by her performance here, not just the physical stuff, but the decisions made. Like Abalam sounds like a book on tape, like this really soothing and calm tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It works so well.
Oh, yeah.
Fabian and Belle had said that Stamm told them watch every exorcism movie that you can get your hands on and don't do any of that. Like I said, they were doing 20 to 30 takes per scene and also in this scene. And Ashley Bell said that she was exhausted. And she said that the crew went out and got her a huge bag of bath salts to kind of soak and rest after she did this. And like I said, the first time they ever saw this was at the LA Film Festival. And Ashley Bell said that she scared herself so badly in this scene that she went and slept at her parents' house in her childhood bedroom with the lights on.
To get away from herself?
herself.
It's incredible work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
But Daniel starts filming again in the farmhouse while he, Iris, and Lewis wait for Cotton to come out of Nell's room. He exits and closes the door behind him. Lewis says that it looks like Nell is resting, and Cotton says that she is. She's relieved and she's resting really well. But Cotton holds Iris's gaze as Lewis praises God. Cotton turns to the father, praising God as well before asking if he knows a boy named Logan. Lewis doesn't, even when Cotton nudges that Logan works at a restaurant or a cafe. Lewis is uninterested in this, though. He only wants to know if Abalam is gone. Cotton tells Lewis gently that his daughter doesn't have a demon. She's suffering from shame. She's pregnant, and Logan is the father. Lewis asserts that that is impossible. Iris proposes that if that's what Nell says happened, but Lewis interrupts her, firing back that Nell is delirious. He reminds them of what his daughter just went through. Cotton counters that he and Lewis can go in there together and hear it from Nell themselves. We cut to this, Daniel filming through the crack in the door as Nell explains flatly and in third person that a couple years ago when her mother was dying, Logan came by and asked her if she wanted to go for a ride in his sports car. Lewis grips the posts of his daughter's bed, his face quivering as he listens. Nell admits that the car was old, but it was still a sports car. Nell says she got in it and started driving out into the field. He turned to her and he asked if she wanted to have sex. She said yes. Lewis physically recoils at this, but Nell smiles as she continues. She asked him, "Am I pretty?" And he said yes. He said, "I think you're so pretty." Then he took her and he laid her back. Lewis interrupts, yelling at Nell to stop it. Cotton lowers his head. Nell asserts that she loved how he touched her, but Lewis booms that she was raped. Nell repeats, she said yes, and she liked it. Cotton decides that that's enough, and he tells Nell softly. I don't think Lewis can take much more of this.
No.
Daniel films the two men later, standing together in silence. Finally, Lewis decides that Nell is right about one thing. There is a boy who works at that cafe, but he has no idea what his name is. For all he knows, it could be Logan. Later, Cotton calls Pastor Manley from the phone in the kitchen. He leaves a message for him to call him back at the Sweetser farm. Lewis cries as he sits in Nell's bed with her. She stares vacantly, but he rests his head on hers. Pastor Manley arrives with Becky. Cotton meets them outside and shakes his hand, and as they pass by Daniel and the camera, Manley playfully reminds Becky to smile. Once inside, Cotton informs them that Nell finally admitted that Logan is the boy that impregnated her. Becky's eyes widen, and she and Manley share a look as the pastor nods and admits that he knows him. Cotton says that, frankly, he doesn't know what more he can do for them at this point. Manley reminds Cotton of his friend in Baton Rouge, and he asks if Lewis is on board for psychological help. Cotton believes that Lewis would be amenable at this point, and Manley vows to call his friend first thing in the morning. Nell is laying in her bed in her dirty blood-stained nightgown and boots when Pastor Manley and Becky come in to say hello to her and her father. Lewis shakes the pastor's hand, thanks him for coming, and introduces himself to Becky. When Manley tells Nell that it's good to see her, she replies in a gentle whisper that it's good to see him too. Pastor Manley prays over Nell with one hand on Lewis's shoulder and one hand on Becky's. Becky sits at Nell's bedside and the two gaze at each other as Becky strokes her hair. A soft guitar begins to play. Cotton looks over at the camera and finally allows himself a small smile. Well, it all worked out.
That's good, right? Dad's understanding.
Yes. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
The guitar continues as they film Ivanwood, heading back the way they came. Cotton admits that he'd be lying if he said he was sure of anything he just did. He sighs that he's never seen anything like that, and he concedes that poor Nell is going to have some serious help. Lewis probably needs some too. They pass Arisha's cafe, and remember that that's where Logan is supposed to work.
I don't know why they're taking it upon themselves to be Maury Povich right now. Like,
No!
this is none of your fucking business at this point. but go on, I guess.
Well, I mean, we've invested a lot of time in this,
We
I
have.
guess. Like,
Yeah, but this is not our business.
It's not.
At this point, it's not our business.
It's not.
In Risha's cafe, they sit down with Logan Winters, played by Logan Craig Reed. He asserts that Nell is lying. He doesn't even know her. They only met once. He says they were both at Pastor Manley's party. Nell saw him and started talking to him for maybe like a minute. Iris asks if this was at Pastor Manley's house, and Logan says that it was. Iris wonders, last summer? Logan says yes, doubling down when Iris asks if he's sure, and adding that he did not get Nell pregnant. And another thing, Nell is nice and everything, but he's not exactly interested in... He fiddles with his fingers, and Iris supplies for him. Girls? Logan says yes, so Nell is lying. Back in the van, with dusk creeping in as they drive down the road, Cotton wonders what a pastor is doing throwing a party for a bunch of 16-year-olds, especially when he said he hadn't seen Nell in 3 years.
Yeah, when he said that, and then I was like, wait, at his house? I was like, what
Last
the fuck?
summer?
Yeah.
All of it is looking real bad.
Yeah.
Iris asserts that Manley is lying, just like Nell was lying because Logan is gay. She wonders why Nell would lie to them. Cotton proposes that maybe it was to get rid of them and get them out of the house. Iris still doesn't understand, but why? Cotton turns on his blinker, prompting Iris to ask what he's doing. He tells her, I'm turning around. He's going back to the house.
Why did we have to go to Risha's cafe?
I don't know, man.
I know, but really thinking about it too, that all did play out really easy.
It did.
Getting out of
It was
there.
too easy.
Yeah,
It did.
it's like, oh, wait.
And they're like, can we get you on camera? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's dark when they pull back onto the Sweetser property. Cotton calls out to Lewis. When he gets no response and no one answers when he knocks on the door, he lets himself inside. Iris and Daniel follow. As soon as he enters, Cotton mutters, "Oh my God." Daniel zooms in on what he sees. A pentagram drawn on the wall in weeping black paint.
Well, they're just letting it all hang out now.
Yeah, well.
Y'all are supposed to be back in Baton Rouge. Okay? You were supposed to be around for this part. They continue into the room where Cotton was sleeping on the couch earlier. The walls and the vaulted ceilings are covered in occult symbols and satanic iconography. Cotton stands alone outside when Daniel follows Iris out, who reports that the phones have been ripped from the wall, but Cotton shushes them. He asks in a whisper if they heard that. There's a scream in the distance. Cotton goes to investigate, ignoring Iris when she calls out to him, telling him to stop. She insists that this is insane, but Cotton says that they need to find Nell, and when Daniel agrees with Iris, Cotton shushes him. The screams get louder and louder as they press forward through the trees, and when a chanting voice floats over to them, Cotton tells Daniel to turn the camera's light off. He does, and we see through the trees to a clearing where a group of people gather around a blazing fire. The chanting continues in a call and response, and the camera distorts as Cotton, Iris, and Daniel hunker behind a twisted tree. Daniel zooms to find someone donned in a crimson cloak, leading the chanting while on a table, Nell lies on her back, writhing and screaming. Cotton points out that that's Nell right there on that table.
What are you, the narrator? No.
Daniel presses in on her screaming face before spotting Lewis, blindfolded, gagged, and tied up. Iris decides that they need to get to the police. She asserts that she wants to get out of here. Cotton realizes now, as the leader throws his head back and chants, that it's Pastor Manley. Becky is tending to Nell on the table, spreading her shaking legs. Iris is adamant that they leave, but Cotton is in disbelief, asking again and again what they're doing. With one more blood-curdling shriek from Nell, Becky raises something small, bloody, glowing, and screaming from between her legs. Cotton says in a hoarse whisper that that is not human. Pastor Manley takes it from Becky and turns toward the fire, where he proclaims, "Hail Abalam!"
This is where I was like, how was he right?
Yeah.
He was, that was, yeah.
Yeah. He tosses it inside the fire where it screeches in the flames. Nell curls up sobbing on the table. Iris says that they need to go now. They have to get out of here. But the unseen birds in the trees around them cry and fly off into the night, and fiery clouds plume from the blaze. Daniel agrees that it's time for them to go now, but Cotton is staring, his jaw dropped, tears in his eyes. He clutches onto his cross. The fire licks up hungrily, and Cotton lowers his head to the cross and begins to pray earnestly in Latin. Iris asks what he's doing, but Cotton has already risen to his feet. He stands bravely, thrusting the cross in front of him and stepping forward. The camera glitches as Cotton is silhouetted against the flames, commanding that they cannot have the soul of this girl. But thanks to Cotton, they've all been made. Someone shouts out, "Kill him! The one with the camera!"
God damn it!
I know, dude. We were fine.
I have to say, even though he did give away everything,
Yeah.
that shot
Yes.
of him approaching that demonic fire,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Iris screams that they're coming and to run. Daniel turns back just in time to see Iris snatched up. She is thrown to the ground, and as someone raises an axe, a woman demands in a high voice to kill the bitch. The axe is brought down on Iris again and again and again.
Did they watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 last night?
And I want to add, they're all dressed very nicely.
Yes.
Daniel turns and sprints away, panting and whimpering. He finally slows, and when he hears a branch snap, he turns to investigate. There's nothing there, but when he looks forward, he's met face to face with Caleb, wearing a suit with the bandage affixed to his slashed face. He raises his hand and slashes at Daniel's throat with the clutched weapon. Daniel's scream is cut short as the camera falls to the ground. And I will say, I kind of really love that we don't visibly see anybody's fate because we already know it.
Yeah.
We already saw it in the drawing. I thought that was really cool. We
Yeah.
don't look down at Iris's body. We don't see Daniel's head roll into the
No.
frame. Like,
And I agree with that 100%. I think my only thing is I want to know what the fuck is going on with Cotton right now, but there's really no way for us to know
no.
and to stay with what we've done here.
And we
Yeah.
know that he burns. We saw it in the picture.
Well, he might have. We will see.
It cuts to black and the credits roll, finally giving us the title, white against a black background, The Last Exorcism. So, what did you guys think of The Last Exorcism? But very quickly. Be quiet. No, I'm just kidding. First of all, because I did read the screenplay. In the exorcism scene, Nell says in the screenplay, I'll let you give me a blowjob in the ass, which I thought was funnier.
That's pretty funny.
Than a blowing job.
Yeah.
A blowing job was probably better for the film.
Yeah.
Eli Roth is like, well, the ratings board called me and said that we couldn't say that
Get
about
outta
the
here.
ass. Because I'm very important.
Yes, the most important. But in the original ending, which they did shoot, but in the screenplay, they bring Pastor Manley to the farm and they leave. But Pastor Manley gives them the number for that doctor in Baton Rouge. So they're passing the Sonic where the Logan character works, because it's a Sonic. And they stop, they get out, they talk to him, and they get information that Pastor Manley is throwing parties for teens regularly, and they're like drug parties. Because they ask if drugs are there, and the Logan character, because they all have different names except Cotton and Nell. But the Logan character is like, well, what do you mean by drugs? So they stop to contact the doctor, Pastor Manley's friend in Baton Rouge, Dr. Michael Hunt, but there's no one in the department by that name, and they realize Michael Hunt, Mike Hunt,
Come on, man.
it's a prank. They've been had. In
I-
the screenplay, he's like, it's like alcoholic.
How did you not get that?
Yeah.
What I thought you were going to say is like they call it and they're like, yes, this is the devil. And they're like, oh, no.
So they go back to the farm, and it's basically the same thing, but you do see a giant demon stomping around in the woods. Like, the demon is there, and they catch it on film. So after the footage goes down, hold on, it comes back up on Cotton back in his church, looking worse for wear. He shows a blown up picture of the demon, and he talks about faith. He admits that he was a sinner himself. He was blind, but now because of God, he can see, and they can all kick the devil's butt together. He brings out Nell, and Nell plays her instrument for the congregation. In the screenplay, it's a flute, here it would be her recorder, whatever. And it ends with text saying that Cotton took over his father's church, and his wife has also accepted God into her life. It ends with, in the year that has passed since the Ivanwood exorcism, Cotton's ministry has seen a 200% increase in charitable donations.
Huh.
So the takeaway was supposed to be, did Cotton fake this whole fucking thing?
I got to say, man, there's something that I really like about that.
Yeah.
It's difficult because I do like the ending of the film.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like them both. I feel like that one would be like, wow, he fucking conned us too.
Yeah.
And I kind
No,
of love the idea of us meeting Cotton and him being like, look, I'm scamming.
Yeah.
And then at the end being like, God damn it, he scammed me.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I like that. I
got
like
us.
that. But Stamm said that he screened, and again, they filmed this. Stamm screened it for 10 of his closest friends, and only one got it. Got that it's ambiguous as to, did this really happen, or was Cotton scamming? Only one of his friends got it. The other 9 said that it was too confusing. And Lionsgate ultimately agreed. They didn't want any deconstruction. They wanted a straight up horror film that ended with a finale open enough that they could come back for a sequel. That's what they wanted.
I don't like that. I don't like that being the motivator.
And they do come back for a sequel.
Yeah.
I think that ending is kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
It's cheeky. It's kind of like a fuck you in a really cool way. But again, I love this abrupt, oh my God, fuck, his faith is renewed. But is it faith if it's right in front of your fucking face? That's proof. That's not faith.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like both of them a lot. But I would really love to see that original ending that they shot.
And me too.
I think that's the thing. I would like to see it only because it sounds good on paper, but maybe it just didn't translate right to film.
It's possible.
So that's why everybody was like, what the fuck? And yeah, the one guy, because even reading reviews for this or what people thought about the ending of this,
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I love this original ending.
I agree.
Because for me, it's like, oh shit, that's it.
Right.
I'm just, all right.
Yeah.
We came, again, he didn't have faith. He fucked around. He found out and just, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something so cool, and you could just see in the alternate ending Patrick Fabian giving like a sly smile to the camera.
Absolutely.
That would be cool.
It would be.
And I just know that feeling of like, oh, ending with being like the contributions have increased 200.
Yeah.
You told us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I do.
I like it too. I like them both though, but I guess them having to go back and do this, nobody was happy about it. They all really liked, like the cast and crew really liked that original ending.
Yeah,
man.
And I get it, but I still think, for a kind of tacked on ending, I think that this is great.
Yeah.
But what did y'all think of The Last Exorcism?
Thinking about it, I would be very interested in seeing the original ending. I do like what we get here, like I've said. I like this whole movie, I'm going to be honest. I was watching it, and it did when we got to the part when there's a lot of evidence or things pointing to the dad. It doesn't look good.
No.
And it is like, oh, shit, is this something else? I wasn't thinking that at all. And then it happened, or it came up, and I was like, oh, shit, this is not what I thought. We're dealing with something more evil than that. I was like, what the fuck? So then we go into, oh, no, you are possessed, or you're whatever. Then the ending happens, and it's like, oh, they're the cult, or whatever. And then again, that's what I'm saying. I do enjoy this ending because it is just that. You were conning people. You got conned. This is what happened. You're dead. So I think this is a very good little beginning, middle, and end movie, and it does exactly what it needs to do. And like I said, it fooled me. So I'll give it a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I really love the misdirection towards the end because honestly, that would have been a different way to go and kind of a satisfying ending too in a weird way.
Yeah.
Of it just being like, oh, there was nothing there and it was all a matter of this and we know the story. And then, of course, they go to, I believe, is Risha's Cafe?
Risha's Cafe, yes.
Yeah.
And then, head towards that ending.
Yeah.
But I really think that I enjoy this film more every time I watch it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a really refreshing feeling to have a film grow on you like that. I think that there is just so much here to like. And again, as I said at the beginning, I have a really high bar for found footage. And so I think it does kind of take a lot to impress me. And I think that they did something really interesting with two really overdone things.
Yeah.
The exorcism film and the found footage subgenre. And they found a way to make it kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I keep saying, I don't know if I'm thirsty. I don't know what's going on. But I do. I think that I really like this film a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think the performances are incredible. Patrick Fabian, again, one of y'all said earlier, if another person was cast here, would not have been successful.
Yeah.
The oomph, the personality that he brings to this character is enough that if they kept that original ending and I found out that this motherfucker scammed me the whole movie, I'm like, all right, Cotton.
Yeah.
Good show. You know what I mean? And also maybe that's why it was called Cotton to begin with.
Right.
All right.
But I will say, I wanted to point out something that I really, really love and find very rewarding on a rewatch when you know how everything shakes out is the character of Caleb.
Yes.
I think that him trying to get them away, he doesn't want his sister to be exorcised.
Because it's legit.
Yeah.
He's like, go back the way you fucking came from. It's not until he's like, oh, you're not actually, this is all fake, that he likes Cotton.
Yeah.
And then the note, don't leave him alone with her. He knows what his dad's going to do.
Yeah.
That's true.
That character, because it's like, oh, that's cool. But then that being the last thing you see is like, oh my God, that adds a different context and motivation for every scene that he's in.
Him saying whenever he did shake Cotton's hand afterwards, and he's like, we don't have any problems anymore.
Yeah.
Completely
So
different.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
And all of the people that they met in town.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're telling the truth.
They were.
There is a cult here. Like
Down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ask the Sweetsers, they can tell you more.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's really fucking good. And I know we can kind of slide into ratings as well. I know that a lot of people don't like the ending, and a lot of people don't really like this film. I think it's kind of a hidden gem. I think it's a special little, I don't know, it is like you said, T, every time I watch it, the more that even just us talking about it, I'm like, God damn, this is a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
I really do like it. It's just like the perfect storm for me of this, different approach, like we've been saying, to this film that on its face we've seen time and time and time again. This is something different. And I love how jarring that ending is when they go back to that farmhouse, that big ass fucking pentagram. You're like, oh my God. Who? It's like, it's just a question of how deep does this go? And seeing that it's Pastor Manley, it's just so good. It's just so good. And that character arc for Cotton, although, I hate that it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
I wish he was scamming us at the end of the day. But, I don't know if this is unpopular or not, but on a scale from 1 to 10 scamming sermonizers, I am going to give The Last Exorcism 8.5 out of 10. Scamming sermonizers. I know that's high.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy this movie, and I want more people to talk about it and watch it and love it. But I will now open up the floor to you.
No, I agree with you. I think the more we kept talking about it and getting into things and kind of listening and breaking down and whatever, it's like, oh no, this is a really good movie. And I think I did state a little bit ago that reading the reviews, how people didn't like, I get it. Some movies are not for everyone.
For sure.
But watching it, I think you're right. I do feel like this is a hidden gem that should be watched. And again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you do like it, I feel like you'll really like it. This movie did surprise me. I was not expecting that ending. And I think that's why I do enjoy what we get. Because it is that. There is no, oh, this is happy or we're going to, it's just like, oh no, that's it. That's done.
You know what, too? Not to interrupt, but this thought just occurred to me. If that was the original ending, there would be music. It would be edited.
Right.
Yeah,
He made this film, and that goes back to what his wife was saying at the beginning of him doing his magic tricks, and he does his own special effects, and he, like, whatever. I'm sorry, continue.
No, but you're right. But even with what we get, if we don't get the original ending, this whole movie still plays out fine.
It does.
And I know a lot of them that we do cover when there are rewrites or there's whatever, it does hurt the movie. I don't think that this ending hurt the movie at all. I think either ending could have been really good. This one's good, and the original one they had sounds really cool.
Because this one, it still feels like we've been working here.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like this has been the trajectory.
The whole time. But I agree, T. I think on more rewatches, the movie gets better. But I don't know if I can go as high as you did, babe. But
I understand.
I think for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, scamming sermonizers, I'm going to give The Last Exorcism a 7.5 out of 10. I'm sure my score will go up with more rewatches. I really did enjoy this movie. And I know somebody was talking about fresh air.
Right.
But I think that is a good way. I know this isn't a new movie, but I think that is a good way to describe it.
It's very funny to me. The first time watching it, it was like, I do not like this.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the prime example for me of maybe a film needs a second chance.
Okay, yeah.
It's like food. Like sometimes you try something you never had before and it's not good. Give it another try.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe your tastes have changed. Maybe this will reach you in a different way that it hadn't the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Me and avocado.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little late to the party, but I was really surprised by how much I like this film this time around. The performances are fantastic. I really like the way the story unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of times it seems like the documentary format for a film like this is like just a gimmicky choice.
Yeah.
This is exactly what the film needed to be.
Yes.
It works so well and it's very necessary. I do feel like, and it does upset me learning more and more about this alternate ending.
Yeah.
Because I see how well it could work.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can find it somewhere, if they released it or no.
I would love to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If they haven't, I hope it's like in a can in some mine somewhere or whatever.
No, we don't want it to be there.
Well, they'll find it. It's gotta be somewhere. But I don't know. There's just so many good moments, and I just can't get over Ashley Bell's performance.
Yes.
Patrick Fabian's performance. It just works so well, and there are moments of genuine fright.
Yeah.
When she's talking to herself behind the door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When they're in the entire barn scene.
Yes.
I know it is going to be one of those films. The next time I watch it, it's like, well, maybe I'll bump it up a 0.5.
Yeah.
But I think for me right now, on a scale from 1 to 10, scamming sermonizers, I am also going to give The Last Exorcism 7.5 scamming sermonizers out of 10.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like part of me, I don't know, and it is a thing that needing to see it instead of just hearing about it, but there's a real potential that other ending could be like an 8.5.
Right.
Because that, having set up what they did at the beginning.
Right.
Like, oh, you bastard.
Me too, you fucking douche.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate The Last Exorcism, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Instagram at the Pod Mortem. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like our Stairhole Productions page on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Blood and Smoke, at Juggalo Daddy 84, and at Travis MWH. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon, where you'll get over 200 hours of bonus content, our monthly schedule, access to our Discord server, and the opportunity to help us decide which films to cover. And if you're looking for Pod Mortem and Stairhole Productions merch, follow the link in our episode notes. Stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, committing your life to helping others in your own way is an admirable thing, but it's important to realize when the time has come to save yourself. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah.
Very good. A special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Kimberly Kleindienst, Sydney Smith, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rezak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Scott Troutman Wise, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Dave Burke, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Brandon, Sawyer Reese Farr, Sahara, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Eileen O, Marissa E, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanovan, Erica Morin,
Tress Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E, Maggie H, Murder Stina, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felnez63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Valerie K, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities Laura McCarricker, Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S., Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Kim H., August, Vengeance Spirit, Jenny May, Glittery Fab, Malik Caselli Armstrong, Scarly D, Toya Shea, Katie, Martin Shaw, Star, Tyler J, Cam Davies, Patrick Hoagland, Raven, D, Wesley Tart, Kristen Jackson, Jacob Nordberg, Spencer, Samantha, Damian Grant, Half Price Horror, Clemmy, Nisi Nay, Erica, Jason X Rules, Karen Burrows, Aaron Norman, Stephen Rogers, Victoria Smith, Patricia A. Graham, Erasmo Pena, Daniel Wright, Tabitha Thomas, Richard Murray, Irene, Sally Slater 52, Jordan McCarthy, Christy Michelle Wilson, Rosalind Harnias, Emily Rance, Amy, Lisa and Kathy, Mike H.,
Christian Sadler, Hannah, Sarah Jack, Casey L., Evelyn Knight, Paula Garcia, Nikki M., Ghastly Grandad, Megan and Alexandra Saldivar, Lisa Sykes, Sonny Jonas, Kelsey Niemeyer Cook, The Face Flowers, JG, Morgan Novello, Ashley, Alex M., Brandon C., Gordon Sutherland, Georgia Renland, Ashley Poe, Najee P., Seth Schaff, Diana Joe, Connor Gormley, Carrie Parker, Katie Face, Jane Pillsbury, Caitlin Asher, Mia Franz, Pooh Bear, Spicy Caldera, This is the Zodiac Speaking, Jason the Ghost, Moldy Tic Tac, Brian Ward, Tanner Rutgers, Gremlin Keeper 22, Sam Spade 666, Veronica, Kristen Rhodes, Daniel Laurent, Carmito, TVR, A Very Sweepy Baby, Randy Tucker, Nicholas Rage, A Lazy Boy, Nicola Williams, Sadison Miles, Jasmine, Stu Corbett, Daniel Smith, Brick O, Jaden Nicole, Jody Grody, Lost Fan 08, George L. Robertson, Mercedes X Bleeple, Joel Miller Apologist, Jaylene Perry, Cool Trainer Elijah, Mrs. Bloomingdale, Sierra Duncan, Claire Cantwell, Renee Hart, Meg Like Sleep, Final Boy, Alani, Nosferah Dude, Elizabeth Thompson, Joey, Michelle Nicole, The Lipstick Demon, Less Than Zombie, Franklin Badge, Sean Reeves, The Kryptonian Orphan, Aria Carter, and Melissa B. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much because you've changed our lives simply by believing in us.
Aww.
Yeah.
You know, like that demon or
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
Or God.
Well,
All right.
Until next time.